Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Naruto. Start with the 9 tails and take the 7th Hokage as his apprentice. Chapter 41. Tiantian looked at the two people at this time, and quickly stepped forward to help Hyuga Neji up. He hurriedly began to check Hyuga Neji's body. Are you okay? Might Guy stepped forward and asked. It can't be seen for the time being, because there is no external injury on Neji's body. Xiao Li was regulating his breathing on the side, opened his eyes and looked at the unconscious Hyuga Neji at this time, and walked forward. He took Hyuga Neji directly from Tiantian's arms. His fingers kept tapping Hyuga Neji's acupuncture points. His palm was placed directly on Hyuga Neji's back. Then he pressed hard. He only heard the sound of bones rubbing, and Hyuga Neji's spine straightened instantly. Tiantian looked at Hyuga Neji and Xiao Li nervously at this time, fearing that something unexpected would happen. At this time, Xiao Li was sweating profusely and stared at Hyuga Neji's condition seriously, then gently turned him over and let him lie flat on the ground. Slowly stood up and said, "It should be okay. I used the matching treatment method to repair him. But why hasn't Neji woken up yet?" Ten said anxiously, staring at Hyuga Neji who still didn't move. "I don't know either." Xiao Li touched his head awkwardly, looking at Ten without any solution. Might Guy came out and said, "Just give Neji time to react." As soon as the voice fell, Hyuga Neji coughed and slowly opened his eyes. "Ningji, are you feeling uncomfortable?" Ten looked at Hyuga Neji seriously. But Hyuga Neji stood up quickly and stared at Xiao Li in front of him. "What kind of boxing is that?" Xiao Li touched his head and said, "A master taught me, it's called Bajikwan." "Okay." Hyuga Neji listened to Xiao Li's answer and was about to walk towards the Hyuga family's clan land. But halfway through, he turned his head and said, "I look forward to the next sparring with you." Then, he walked towards his home without looking back. "Hey." Xiao Li looked at Hyuga Neji at this time, stretched out his hand, wanted to say something, and his shoulder quickly climbed up an arm. Might Guy showed his distinctive big teeth and said to Xiao Li at this time, "Xiao Li, your boxing just now is quite good, tell the teacher about it." Then, Might Guy said to Tian who was standing beside him, "Tian, today's training is over, why don't you burn your youth with us here? Or go to train by yourself?" No, I'd better go home." Tian looked at the extremely excited Might Guy at this time, then shook his head vigorously, and ran towards the training ground with his scroll. Might Guy directly gave Xiao Li a thumbs up at this time. "Xiao Li, let's burn our youth together." Then the two men in green tights walked towards the woods behind Konoha. Hyuga Neji returned to his home. In my mind, I kept reviewing Xiao Li's boxing techniques. Those boxing techniques are fundamentally different from the soft boxing techniques. The essence of soft boxing is the combination of yin and softness, using chakra to click on the enemy's Jotian acupoints to block the normal operation of chakra. But Xiao Li's boxing techniques are extremely fierce. Although the movements are common, when he punches, he circulates all the chakra in his body to his fist. At that moment, his soft boxing techniques could not react at all. He could only watch the fierce punch hit him. Then, Hyuga Neji closed his eyes, and the movements of his hands began to slide slowly, and his feet kept changing positions. At this time, a Bagua diagram appeared under Hyuga Neji's feet. Constantly walking back and forth on the Bagua diagram. Qian, Shuan, Zhen, Kan, Dui, Kun. Hyuga Neji kept repeating these 6 methods under his feet. Suddenly, Hyuga Neji's eyes suddenly opened, and thick chakra instantly appeared under his fists and soles of his feet. He began to hit back and forth constantly. A stream of chakra flew around the yard in an instant, and it looked like a fist. The fusion of the empty palm and Bajikwan. At this time, a person appeared outside the courtyard of Hyuga Neji. It was the figure of Hyuga Hiyashi. At this time, Hyuga Hiyashi looked at Hyuga Neji in the yard and widened his eyes. It was a boxing method that was more exquisite than the soft boxing method. Hyuga Hiyashi also stood quietly at the door of the courtyard, fearing that he would disturb Hyuga Neji. Finally, Hyuga Neji came out of the feeling of enlightenment. He looked at Hyuga Hiyashi at the door in surprise, and quickly stepped forward and said, "Master Clan Leader." Hyuga Hiyashi, who was originally excited, suddenly dimmed after hearing Hyuga Neji's address. "Ninki, you are still like this." But at this time, Ninki still looked at Hyuga Hiyashi with a calm face and said, "What's up, clan leader?" "Nothing, I just came to see how you are doing. By the way, that boxing technique you just used, Neji. That's a boxing technique I came up with by accident, I can give it to the clan for learning." Hyuga Neji did not betray Shaoli, because he knew that if the Hyuga family knew that this boxing method came from Shaoli, they would definitely frame Shaoli by any means. In front of them, family honor is always above everything. Hyuga Hiyashi heard what Hyuga Neji said, and instantly smiled. "That's really great. Ninki, your boxing method still has a huge room for improvement. Let's improve this boxing method." In the sealed space, Bai Li stood up suddenly, as if he thought of something, and began to pace back and forth. Muttered in his mouth, "Everything will be done after the Chunin exam, but what about after the Chunin exam? Defection." Bai Li shook his head gently, thinking about the current 12 little strongmen, thinking about all the high-end combat power in Konoha. Tisk, it's really troublesome. Suddenly, Bai Li seemed to have thought of something, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Said maliciously, "Don't blame me, Akatsuki." Then, Bai Li's figure disappeared in an instant and appeared at the border of Konoha. Staring at the rain village in the distance, Bai Li muttered, "Hey, kid from Akatsuki, here I come. Don't run." Then he quickly ran towards the direction of the hidden rain village. In the Yuyan village at this time, in a dark place among the big trees, a frail, skinny man uses huge energy to maintain his life. A woman wearing a black fire cloud robe stood in front of him. "Now what should we do in the Akatsuki organization? Your body is really getting worse day by day." "It's okay, I can still control those puppets now. We must speed up the collection of tailed beasts. Let's capture the tailed beasts while our Akatsuki organization is recruiting people." Xiaonan nodded his head, and then turned into pieces of paper and flew out. "Hey, it's really the hidden rain village. It's really annoying when it rains all the time." Bai Li looked at the raindrops falling continuously in the sky, frowned his eyebrows, and a chakra shield was instantly propped up to block the raindrops. Deep in Yuyan village, a man wearing a black fire cloud robe frowned and said, "A strange ninja has entered the rain-hidden village. The amount of chakra is very large, and he is very arrogant. He directly used his own chakra to create a shield. So bold. Well, Xiaonan, go and have a look. He looks evil. If you have the ability, drag him into our Akatsuki organization." "Well, I understand." Bai Li looked at the street, and everyone was looking at him unkindly. He pouted his lips. "I just came here and this exciting thing happened to me. It's true." Then, a woman wearing a black-bottomed fire cloud robe appeared in front of her. "What brings you to our Yuyan village?" Single quote. At this time, Xiaonan took the initiative and directly questioned Bai Li. "You can't just stroll back and forth if you have nothing to do." Bai Li looked at Xiaonan, who was serious at this time, smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth, and sat directly on the stool beside him. Playing with the bowl on the table at this time, Xiaonan looked at the powerful masked man in front of him and did not dare to act rashly. "What on earth do you do? It's best not to think that Yuyan village, are really easy to mess with." The yellow-haired man slowly descended from the sky, staring at Bai Li indifferently. "Can you please not use a puppet of this level to talk to me? Besides, your method is really low-end." Bai Li slowly took off his mask, and his face was exposed in front of everyone. How can he be so handsome? This man is really a man, I don't feel like it. With such good looks, are you really an enemy? Countless doubts appeared among the crowd, and they began to ask questions loudly. Pain looked at the surrounding environment, and there was a trace of confusion on the face of the puppet. "Can you understand everything with that face?" "Of course." Then Pain looked at Bai Li calmly. "Your Excellency may know a little more." "What? Kill me to silence me?" Suddenly, the chakra all over Bai Li's body began to riot continuously, and a deadly aura instantly oppressed Pain's six paths and Konan. "That's not what I meant. When such a powerful person arrives in my Yuyan village, of course he must be well received." A stiff smile appeared on Pain's face, and then he walked directly towards Bai Li. Bai Li raised his eyebrows slightly, looked at Pain at this time, and slowly stood up. "You guys from Yuyan village are still sensible. Those guys from Sunagakur village will beat me up if they catch me." Tisk, Tisk, tisk. Bailey then followed Pain towards the center of Yuyan village. Brush. A fast and shining sword light instantly cut through countless raindrops at this time. A sharp claw flew out directly from Bailey's chest. Instantly, a trace of blood appeared at the corner of Bailey's mouth, and he looked at the Shiradao behind him in disbelief. You guy. Shiradao retracted his claws expressionlessly. Then, Bailey's eyes began to turn white rapidly, large swaths of blood emerged from his chest, and he slowly fell to the ground. At this time, Tiandao Pain slowly turned around and spoke expressionlessly. You know too much. Then he turned around and left. But Bailey's mean voice came from behind again. You really don't think I'm going to die like this, do you? I'm just teasing you, do you really believe it? Tiandao Pain quickly turned his head, looking at the lively Bailey, his eyes widened. You are really fools. Arrogance is your only flaw. Isn't it good to fight in a team fight? Isn't it good to raise my ashes? Bailey was still sitting next to the table. His fingers slowly rubbed the edge of the bowl. He looked at Lu Dao at this moment with a playful look. Superior. Tiandao Pain's expression darkened instantly, and the 5 people around him rushed forward. The beastly Pain jumped out and slammed his palm on the ground. Spiritualism. In an instant, 3 huge clouds of white mist erupted on the battlefield. The 3-headed monster also quickly sprang out of the white mist. Hell Crab. The 3-headed dog of hell. Bull. With a ferocious expression, he bit towards Bai Li. At the same time, the figure of Shiradao instantly appeared next to Bai Li. 5-finger missile. 5 missiles instantly flew towards Bai Li. Bai Li's mouth corners slightly curved, and the whole person squatted on the ground, muttering. Spiritual technique. Bang. The huge air wave directly flipped the 3 summoned beasts and Shiradao out. A huge claw directly slapped out fiercely. The point was sharp. The blood-red fox eyes also appeared at this time. As the smoke slowly dissipated, the behemoth also appeared in the eyes of everyone. As that, Nine-tailed, Pain's eyes shrank suddenly. The man lay on the head of the Nine-tailed, looking at him provocatively. Xiaonan swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Muttered. Is this really the level that humans can reach? Bai Li extended his middle finger to Pain Lu Dao at this time. Are you awesome? But at this time, the animal spirit beast rushed up like crazy, but there was no ripples at this time. The 9-tailed fox raised his palm and slapped it, and was instantly beaten and disappeared from the spot. Pain's face also became very bad. The figure of Shiradao quickly disappeared from the spot and flew directly in front of Bai Li. An iron claw appeared in his hand and grabbed Bai Li's throat tightly. Bai Li looked at the Shiradao in front of him who didn't know his own strength with contempt. Kicked it out directly. Afterwards, the figure of Shiradao turned into a beam of light and was kicked into the ground fiercely. Trash, you are really shameless, you little fools. After that, Bai Li's figure began to fly up quickly and appeared directly behind Jigokudo. The chakra in his hand began to gather crazily. He was about to hit Jigokudo's back. In an instant, a fat body directly wrapped around Bai Li's palm at this time. Countless 9-tailed chakras began to be quickly absorbed by him. The body of Hungry Ghost Road also began to retreat quickly. Bai Li's mouth corners slightly hooked, and the body directly banged. Transformed into countless smoke. After that, Bai Li appeared behind Jigokudo with a kunai in his hand. Sorry, you still have to die. The sharp kunai in his hand directly scratched Jigokudo's throat, and a line instantly appeared at the throat. But at this time, Pain's 6 paths showed a smile that no one could feel. But the next second they couldn't laugh. I still know what I'm doing. Then, Bai Li's other hand instantly appeared with a ninja sword, and chopped at the black long stick fiercely. Then, Jigokudo slowly fell to the ground. Hell Road, dead. Bai Li's figure turned into a puff of smoke again and disappeared on the spot. A voice came from the head of the 9-tailed fox. You are really too weak. Aren't you the descendants of God? You are really not worthy of being a god with such little ability. After that, Bai Li's figure quickly appeared in front of Xiaonan. Countless 9-tailed fox's chakras instantly tied her up and returned to the head of the 9-tailed fox. You are really not good enough. You so-called gods can't protect a woman. What else can you do? Let her go. Pain saw Xiaonan being captured at this time and rushed up directly. At the same time, a sound of breaking through the air came from behind Bai Li. A huge chameleon directly forced its tongue to come over. Bai Li snapped his fingers lightly. Xiaonan was quickly tied to the nine-tailed fox. Come on, let go of your hands and feet. Bai Li patted the nine-tailed fox lightly, and then his figure appeared directly behind Shira Road. Got it, boss. Then, a bloodthirsty light appeared in Kyuubi's eyes. When facing the tongue, he calmly slapped it with his claws. Instantly, the chameleon's body was slapped into the ground. Bai Li's palm tightly grasped Shiradao's neck at this time. Instantly, Shiradao's body began to change constantly, and a series of sharp blades stabbed directly at Bai Li at this time. Bai Li slowly let go of his hands, holding his arms and watching Shiradao perform a circus at this time. Countless mechanical armors instantly surrounded Shiradao at this time. Instantly, Yu, a technological human, appeared in front of Bai Li. What a good circus performance. Then, Bai Li's figure instantly appeared behind Jigokudo, and the ninja sword in his hand began to fly continuously. From cold weapons to hot weapons, Bai Li stripped them clean. Bai Li looked at Shiradao at this time with a teasing face. Shiradao touched his body, and now he had no weapons left. Shiradao, I am here to make people laugh. Then countless gun barrels appeared on Shiradao's arms and wrists in an instant. Countless missiles were fired and whistled directly in the direction of Bai Li. Instantly, the missiles reached Bai Li's eyes. I am a fairy fox. Bai Li whispered. Then, the sky and the earth began to change color, and Bai Li's figure appeared directly in the air. Countless thunders were flying wildly behind Bai Li. Directly blasted down. You Lei, let's see if you, the god, are powerful. Or I, the fox fairy, am powerful. The thunder beam instantly turned the battlefield here into countless thunder seas. At this time, the lower Sharingan in Bai Li's eyes began to rotate wildly. A huge Gundam appeared at this time. As the saying goes, Gundam is indispensable. A huge blue fox form appeared at this moment, and the Gundam was actually taller than countless mountains stacked together. Then, the devastating blow instantly covered this place crazily. My Gundam is really awesome. The system's voice sounded in time, and began to shout crazily. Ding ding ding. Emergency reminder from the most handsome system in the universe, please restore the host to normal size quickly, cancel Gundam mode, cancel Gundam mode. The strength of the ninja world is growing rapidly because of your Gundam. Bai Li heard the system's prompt. Although he didn't understand, he knew that his influence on the entire ninja world was too great at this time. Then, the Gundam began to dissipate quickly, and Bai Li also returned to human form. The system's voice still didn't stop, and it started to talk a lot. Although this system doesn't bubble up when there is nothing wrong, it's your fault for pitting this system like this. If your high profile is known to my boss, and he checks the attendance record of our system again, I will be dead, right? You will never see such a handsome system like mine again. Ah, this. Bai Li touched his head and listened to the words of the system at this time. Is it that serious? Of course. You should wait until Kagaya-sama appears to use this Gundam. If my boss finds out about me, I will take you with me even if I die. The system said, fiercely, and then yawned. I'm asleep, don't bother me if you have nothing to do. Anyway, the rewards have been given to you. I'm useless, I just want to get paid. Then there was no news from the system. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Bai Li listened to the lazy words of his system speechlessly, and rolled his eyes. Then his figure also came to the side of pain at this time. At this time, only Tiandao was left in the 6 paths of pain. At this time, Tiandao looked at Bai Li with a trace of fear in his eyes. Nagato had never seen such a cruel human. That is not the height that humans can reach. Pain looked at Xiaonan, who was still on the back of the 9-tailed fox, gritted his teeth, and had the answer in his heart. Staring at Bai Li, who was fine at this time, he rushed up directly. The figure began to approach rapidly. Shinra Tensai. A huge repulsive force exploded directly beside Tiandao Pain. But the result was not as expected by Pain. Bai Li's figure stood steadily at the center of the repulsive force, without any influence at all. How is this possible? This is a real devil. Bai Li gently patted his palm on the cheek of Tendo Pain. What's wrong? Are you sick? There's nothing wrong with you. Uchiha Obito felt the pressure in the Hidden Rain village, and the figure of that person appeared in his mind unconsciously. Gulp. Do you really want to go back? Really? Otherwise, all our plans will fail. A pitcher plant appeared at Obito's feet and said with a serious face. I'll go find the rest of the Akatsuki organization, you must go back. Okay. But at this time, Uchiha Obito slowly glanced at the pitcher plant, and then rushed directly to the direction of the Hidden Rain village. This is Nine-Tailed Fox. When Uchiha Obito arrived here, he looked at the huge nine-tailed fox in the distance with shock. How could the nine-tailed fox come to the Hidden Rain village? And such a huge body. This is impossible. Bai Li looked at the Tendao Pain in front of him, stretched out his hand and gently touched his forehead. Hey, he doesn't have a fever, that's not right. How can a puppet have a fever? I'm such a fool. Bai Li found out his speechless behavior, gave himself a big slap, and then retreated suddenly. Tendao Pain couldn't help it, and a black long stick appeared in his palm in an instant. He stabbed Bai Li fiercely at this time. Tell me, why are you so angry while playing? Bai Li looked at Tendao Pain at this time, and his hand easily took the black long stick. He flicked his fingers lightly on the black long stick. Instantly, the black long stick began to break into pieces. Why do you want to make trouble with our Akatsuki organization? Pain looked at Bai Li calmly at this time. Nothing, I said I was just passing by, but you refused to listen. I'm very scared now. Bai Li looked at Tendo Pain at this time with a smile in his eyes. *E. But Tendo Pain still kept his calm at this time. Why don't you tell us your purpose? We can satisfy you. But Bai Li's eyes did become unusually sharp. The ninja sword in his hand quickly appeared with a shining blade light, and quickly cut off one of Tendo Pain's arms. Tendo Pain quickly retreated while covering his wound. A fierce light appeared in Bai Li's eyes and said, what purpose does the largest rebel ninja organization in the Naruto world need to fight you? Just you sneak attack me. I can wipe out your organization in one fell swoop. Then his figure quickly appeared behind Tendo Pain, and a shuriken quickly approached Tendo Pain. God of Power. At this time, Obito appeared in the middle of the two. The Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes began to spin wildly. The shuriken was directly sucked into the Kamui space. Sir, is it really okay to stick to our Akatsuki organization all the time? At this time, Obito suppressed his emotions and looked at Bai Li in front of him. Oh, isn't this an old acquaintance? Brother Obito. Uchiha Obito's eyes showed a trace of panic. But he still said calmly. I am Uchiha Madara, the existence of God. But if you don't tell the truth now, you will fall in this Hidden Rain village. Bai Li looked at Uchiha Obito, who was still serious at this time, and the corners of his mouth also smiled slightly. I am not a child. Since you think you are Uchiha Madara, then you are Uchiha Madara. Why not let me see what kind of strength the former leader of the ninja world is? Finally, several sharp kunai appeared in Bai Li's hands. Quickly shot in the direction of Uchiha Obito. Uchiha Obito's pupils shrank suddenly, and his body flashed, dodging the kunai. But Bai Li's figure quickly appeared at the position of the kunai. Flying Thunder God Technique. Bai Li's eyes glowed red, and his palm quickly grabbed Uchiha Obito's neck. Kamui. Uchiha Obito felt the violent wind behind him. His figure quickly became illusory. He shuttled directly through Bai Li's palm. The long chain in his hand also ran towards Bai Li. Die. But at this time, Bai Li's figure did turn into Nohara Rin's appearance. Rin. Uchiha Obito's pupils shrank suddenly, and his hand directly grabbed the flying long chain. But at this time, the long chain was no longer under Uchiha Obito's control. It pierced into Nohara Rin's heart. Rin, don't. Suddenly, boundless darkness and fear enveloped Uchiha Obito's whole body. The guilt of killing Nohara Rin also hit him hard. Then Obito threw away the long chain in his hand and ran towards Nohara Rin frantically. He directly protected Nohara Rin, who was lying on the ground, in his arms. Rin, back to reality. Bai Li's eternal Mangekyo Sharingan stopped turning. A tear slowly flowed down the cheek of Uchiha Obito on the opposite side. Then the whole person collapsed to the ground. In agony. Bai Li couldn't help but praise. This trick is really effective against Brother 2. At this time, Uchiha Obito was still muttering in his mouth. I killed Rin, I killed Rin. It's true that when a person has a weak spot, he is so vulnerable. Bai Li glanced at Uchiha Obito on the ground. Then he looked around the hidden rain village. Why hasn't the so-called pitcher plant appeared yet? The Akatsuki organization he created is about to collapse. But at this time, a figure quickly appeared behind Bai Li. Water style. Great shark bullet technique. Countless sharks began to bite towards Bai Li. Detonating clay. Grasshopper. Countless white grasshoppers began to crawl towards Bai Li. At the same time, countless Senbon flew towards Bai Li. The countless nine tails chakra around Bai Li began to stir frantically. One golden hand blocked countless attacks. 3 figures quickly appeared above the hidden rain village. One had shark features on his face and sharp teeth. That was the rebel ninja from the hidden mist village, Hoshigaki Kisame. The other had yellow hair and was a little ghost. That was the rebel ninja from the hidden rock village, Deidara. But the remaining one was a puppet. That was the rebel ninja from the hidden sand village, Scorpion. It seems that our nest seems to have suffered a blow. This is the first time I have seen the leader in such a big trouble. Hoshigaki Kisame hugged his arms and looked at the scene in front of him coldly. Who cares, but this person seems to be a like-minded person. There are a lot of explosive residues in the air. It's very exciting. At this time, a trace of excitement appeared in Deidara's eyes, and he carefully sniffed the smell of the explosion in the air. Stop talking, we should go down. An old voice came from the puppet. The last 3 people landed directly around Bai Li. Surrounded Bai Li tightly at this time. It looks like they are here to attack me. A trace of excitement suddenly appeared in Bai Li's eyes, and he jumped directly onto the 9-tailed fox. He patted the 9-tailed fox's big head and said, "Tailed beast ball, are you ready?" A trace of excitement flashed in the 9-tailed fox's eyes, and his pointed claws rubbed his nose. "It's ready. Then let them see the power of our 9-tailed fox." The 9-tailed fox nodded his head, and then the chakra gathered in his mouth. The blue yang attribute chakra and the purple yin attribute chakra began to merge continuously. The yin-yang ratio reached 2:8 and began to be compressed to the extreme. Suddenly the tailed beast jade was compressed to the extreme. He punched it out all of a sudden. Suddenly, the huge tailed beast jade struck wildly towards the hidden rain village. Countless raindrops were evaporated instantly. Nagato's pupils in the distance shrank sharply. Looking at the tailed beast jade getting closer and closer, he bit his teeth hard. He immediately controlled Tiandao pain and rushed out. Super Shinra Tenzhang. A huge repulsive force instantly filled the entire Yuyan village. The Kyuubi's tailed beast jade was also bounced away, but the houses in Yuyan village were destroyed one by one. Countless ninjas lay on the ground silently. Nagato spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face became even paler. Tiandao Pain also lost control and fell to the ground. The side effects brought to him by Super Shinra Tenzhang were not small. But this time Kyuubi's tailed beast jade completely blocked it. Uchiha Obito looked at the situation in front of him and sighed slightly. He came directly to Bai Li. "Sir, if you have anything to say, just say it and we will listen to you." Shiratuki glanced at this smart Uchiha Obito. "There is nothing important anymore. I just want your Akatsuki organization to cooperate with me in an action. Try your level, but yes, your strength is indeed very weak, but just a little is enough." Uchiha Obito was stunned when he heard Shiratuki's words. "Brother, are you testing your strength? For those who didn't know, I thought you were here to destroy the entire Yuyan village." Uchiha Obito turned his head and looked at Mikigaki Kisame, Deidara and others who were knocked down by the shock wave. "You tell me, I can decide their actions." Finally, Uchiha Obito compromised with Bai Tan. Shiratuki patted Uchiha Obito's shoulder gently. But suddenly there was a sound breaking through the air behind him. A flying sickle quickly struck towards the back of his heart. Those are the undead duo of the Akatsuki organization who have yet to show up. Hidan smiled cruelly, seeing that the flying sickle was about to penetrate Bai Li's body. But a metallic sound resounded throughout the battlefield. Hidan's flying sickle was suddenly thrown away. Uchiha Obito appeared behind Shiratuki, looking at Hidan with cold eyes. "There is no danger anymore. You don't need to take action. Put away your arrogance." But how could the arrogant Hidan just obey Uchiha Obito's words? Jia, killing strong men is my only interest. Even you, Uchiha Madara, can't stop me." Then he danced his flying sickle again and moved towards Bai Li's body. Bai Li looked at the crazy Hidan in front of him, and a smile even crueler than Hidan's appeared on his lips. Then the figure came directly behind Hidan. He waved his ninja sword in his hand and slashed at Hidan's head. A flash of coquettish blood spurted out from Hidan's throat. Hidan's head also fell to the ground. But at this moment, Hidan's face was full of madness. Start laughing. It's really comfortable. This is fighting, but I want to see you feel like you can't kill me even more. Ha 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 ha. Then Hidan's head was thrown directly to the ground by Shiratuki. But Hidan was still dishonest. His eyes were fixed on Bai Li at this moment. It's really a pity that you can't kill me. But Bai Li looked at Hidan with a cruel smile on his lips. He punched Uchiha Obito's arm beside him. Go ahead and pee on his head. Uchiha Obito couldn't believe it and glanced at Bai Tanuki. There was also silence for a long time on the entire battlefield. At this time, Hidan also reacted and shouted angrily. How dare you disrespect my evil god? How dare you let people pee on my head? You will definitely know the evil god's punishment for you. Shiratuki looked at Uchiha Obito calmly. Why don't you go quickly? Yes. Uchiha Obito also walked towards Hidan helplessly and loosened his belt. Uchiha Madara, do you really dare to attack me? Aren't you afraid of the revenge of our evil cult? Seeing Uchiha Madara getting closer and closer to him, Hidan finally shouted loudly. But it couldn't stop the water from flowing slowly down his forehead. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. Uchiha Obito said softly. Don't blame me, I was forced to do nothing. Up tack. Then he hit his head and stopped looking at Hidan on the ground. Hidan also closed his mouth. Uchiha Obito walked to Shiratuki's side. Your Excellency, the mission has been completed. You should be able to let him go. Bai Li glanced slightly at Hidan who was silent over there. He nodded his head slowly. Immediately, Uchiha Obito waved his hand at Kakuzu beside him. Go and help him recover, hurry up. Kakuzu nodded his head in confusion and strode towards Hidan's direction. Because in his memory, Uchiha Madara didn't listen to anyone at all. But who is this boy? Kakuzu squatted around Hidan's head with disdain. He kept telling Hidan. Don't blame that adult, the boy's aura is unusual and terrifying. But Hidan remained silent. A mask instantly appeared on his shoulder. Water escape water curtain. A stream of water instantly spit out from the mouth of the mask and poured on Hidan's head. Then Kakuzu walked to the side and pulled Hidan's body over. A black silk thread shot out from Hidan's wrist and kept stitching at Hidan's neck. It didn't take long for Hidan's head and body to be stitched together. Hidan stood up silently, looking at Bai Li at this time with a slightly fierce look in his eyes. But he didn't say anything, but stood calmly beside Kakuzu. Bai Li looked at Uchiha Obito at this time and said. 2 years later, Konoha will hold a Chunin exam. Your role is to cause a big disturbance in the Chunin exam. If Konoha can be destroyed, destroy it. Then you can go back. Is it that simple? Uchiha Obito seemed not to have heard clearly, and looked at Bai Li in shock. Bai Li nodded affirmatively. I am sure I have not forgotten anything. Is this the reason why you destroyed the Akatsuki organization's Pain 5 paths and pressed the dignity of our members to the ground? But Uchiha Obito didn't care so much, just nodded lightly. I know. Then a huge smoke filled the entire Rain village in an instant. The figures of Bai Li and the Nine Tails disappeared in an instant, and Xiaonan turned into pieces of paper and flew from the sky. What on earth happened that could allow the Nine Tails to reach our small ninja village? At this time, Xiaonan regained his composure and stood beside Uchiha Madara. Nothing, I'll go tell Nagato. I'm afraid you'll go berserk after hearing that. Then, Uchiha Obito's figure disappeared in an instant. Is it really that mysterious? Even the only woman in my organization can't know. While thinking this, Konan saw Hidan next to her. She walked over slowly. Don't be angry, for the benefit of the organization, this is what we must sacrifice. A gentleman's revenge is never too late, do you know? At this time, Konan became the cold goddess again. She kept talking beside Hidan. She raised her head, the murderous aura in her eyes was faintly rioting, and she spoke slowly one word at a time. I know. Shiratuki, who returned to Konoha village, looked at Namikaze Minato beside him and said. Is there anything unusual? But at this time, Namikaze Minato came over quickly, with a serious look on his face. Explain. I don't know what happened to Sarutobi Hiruzen recently. He began to collect a large number of children around Konoha after the war, but none of them came back. In Naruto's memory, countless war orphans have disappeared. Quote. Also, recently the Anbu and the Roots have begun to investigate the entire Konoha, especially around Naruto's cabin. Countless Anbu have been added. But the strange thing is that the Anbu and the Roots now seem to be fused together. There is no connection at all. There is no difference. Bailey nodded his head and said, "Okay, I most likely understand what's going on." Then Bailey shouted directly in his mind, "System Dad, is System Dad here?" But the inquiry at this time was like a silence, with no news. Just when Bailey was about to give up, there was a slight sound from the direction of the system. Bailey's mind was instantly aroused. He sat up and listened carefully. Hoo-hoo, me. Listening to the humming sound of the system at this time, Bailey's face darkened instantly. It was okay to not need this system. But Bailey didn't give up and shouted loudly in his mind. "Gooby system, get up and work. The head office is here to check the accounts." But still no response. Bailey gasped, no longer placing his hope on the system. Then Bailey's figure appeared directly in the Uchiha clan. But what a coincidence, he just happened to appear in front of Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Itachi was stunned and lowered his head, no longer looking at the white raccoon at this time. "Senior, you practice well, I have something else to do." Shiratuki's expression became normal in an instant, and he walked slowly past Uchiha Itachi with his hands behind his back. Pretending to be an expert, Shiratuki came out of Uchiha Itachi's training room in an instant and breathed a sigh of relief. This pretentious temperament is really not something that normal people can pretend to do. "It's your uncle's fault, I'm so exhausted." But before he finished speaking, Uchiha Makoto passed by Shiratuki with a dinner plate, and looked at Shiratuki eye to eye. White Raccoon's back instantly straightened up and he looked at Uchiha Makoto. "Grown-ups." Shunka Uchiha Makoto lowered her head and no longer looked at the distinctive mask on Bai Tan's face. "Yeah, where is Fugaku?" Bai Li raised his voice and said seriously. "It's in the study, or do you want me to take the adults there?" "No, I can find the study by myself. You can go down first." "Yes." Seeing Uchiha Makoto's figure disappear around the corner, Shiratuki breathed a sigh of relief, and then ran directly to the study room of the Uchiha family happily. Afraid of meeting someone again on the road. In the study, Uchiha Fugaku frowned and looked at a piece of information in his hand. Suddenly a person rushed in from outside the door. Uchiha Fugaku's Sharingan began to move crazily, staring at the visitor. I'm really exhausted." Shiratuki rushed into Uchiha Fugaku's study, took off the mask on his face, picked up the water on Fugaku's table and started to drink it in big gulps. Shiratuki glanced at Uchiha Fugaku, swallowed a sip of water, and said, "What's wrong? Why can't you take back your Mangekyo Sharingan? Can you tolerate the use of your own eyesight like this?" Uchiha Fugaku sat down on the stool. He clutched his heart and gasped for air. "Are I so exaggerated? Do you have any thoughts about me?" At this time, Bai Li looked at the exaggerated appearance of Uchiha Fugaku, and seemed to have thought of something. His expression suddenly changed, and he quickly put on his mask and kept a safe distance from the old monster. Finally, Uchiha Fugaku calmed down his anger. The Mangekyo Sharingan also disappeared, and the white raccoon dog sighed slightly as he looked at the distance. "Sir, my old heart will be scared out by you sooner or later. I am not what you think." Bailey also took a breath after hearing this. "That's good, I'm telling you, I'm a normal man, I don't have any quirks. If you take care of your heart, you'll save yourself the trouble of something happening one day." Uchiha Fugaku. "No matter how good my heart is, I can't stand a very fast person rushing towards me. That's the speed of life and death." But Uchiha Fugaku could only think about it. He took out a stack of white paper from his drawer. "Sir, the speed of experiments in the last 3 generations has been getting faster and faster, and the wood escapers have also begun to show results. I think we should take some measures." Bai Li looked at the report on the stack of papers. With the initial appearance of the Wood Escape Army, has the current situation accelerated to this point? Then Bai Li raised his head seriously, looked at Uchiha Fugaku and said seriously, What kind of strength can the current experimental wood escapers display? In other words, what level? Chunin. But that's the upper limit. Although the first generation cells are very powerful, the experimental basis they use is the most advanced, and the quality limit may only be there. Chunin. Bai Li touched his chin and kept thinking. Suddenly, what the system said before passed through my mind. The appearance of your nine-tailed Gundam will bring some substantial progress to your enemies. That Sarutobi Hiruzen has unlimited improvement in technological level. Did the Mudden army research so quickly? Sui Bailey suddenly raised his head and looked at the information on the paper seriously. Chunin level, countless orphans, Sarutobi Hiruzen. Bailey touched his chin and murmured, and began to constantly evaluate the strength of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Fugaku, please call Itachi in. Now you go to Sarutobi Hiruzen to recall all the Uchiha clan members and get them into the Konoha guards. Uchiha Fugaku glanced at Shiratuki in confusion, but still responded, turned around and went out. Then there was a knock on the study door. Sir, you are looking for me. Uchiha Itachi stood at the door of the study and said respectfully. Whoosh! A strong wind appeared directly next to Uchiha Itachi. Shiratuki's handsome face was only 3 centimeters away from Uchiha Itachi's face. Uchiha Itachi swallowed unconsciously, became very nervous, and stammered. Senior, close your eyes and don't make any sound. You won't feel anything from now on. Yes. Uchiha Itachi closed his eyes nervously, and then he felt a wet touch sliding on his eyelids. From the eyelids to the chest, from the chest to the lower abdomen, dantian, from the dantian to his calves. Streams of heat flowed quickly from this line. It felt like a warm chakra, constantly running here. Afterwards, the wet feeling covered his eyelids again, and streams of warm currents began to enter his eyes. A strange breath began to be triggered continuously, and then directly invaded his eyeballs. Bai Li looked at the wet paper covering Uchiha Itachi's eyelids at this time. Warning. Don't open your own eyes. No matter what you hear or what you think in your own mind, you can't open your own eyes. This is the most important thing. Do you know? Uchiha Itachi was suddenly awakened from the strange breath, and resisted the feeling of wanting to open his eyes. Responded. Yes. Bai Li nodded his head, and his mind was full of endless curiosity about this thing. This thing can really enter the form of the eternal Mangekyo without side effects. Bai Li held a packaging box in his palm, and the instructions said. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan Evolution Patch. Function. Enter the level of the eternal Mangekyo without any feeling, but it still has a slight effect on the human body. Influence 1. A short hallucination will appear during the evolution process. Note. This hallucination is the scene that the user least wants to see, and it is also the most terrifying picture in his heart. Influence 2. A large amount of chakra will be consumed during this evolution process. Please prepare chakra. If the chakra is not enough, it will be sucked to death directly. Influence 3. Do not open your eyes during the evolution process, otherwise there will be irreversible side effects. The final right of interpretation belongs to the universe invincible super handsome system. Bai Li brought a chair and sat in front of Uchiha Itachi. A stream of 9 tails chakra was constantly supplied in front of Uchiha Itachi, fearing that something unexpected would happen. Countless 9 tails chakras also began to slowly enter the paper. At this time, Uchiha Itachi felt that his body began to sink continuously, sinking. A feeling of weightlessness permeated his whole body. But his eyelids were very heavy and he couldn't open them. Finally, Uchiha Itachi couldn't feel the feeling of weightlessness. A picture suddenly appeared in his mind. It was a battlefield. It was the battlefield that Uchiha Itachi experienced when he was 4 years old, the Third Ninja World War. Have I returned to the Third Ninja World War? Uchiha Itachi looked at the palm of his hand and suddenly found that his palm had become very tender. He also became a 4-year-old. At the same time, a knife wind appeared behind him, and a ninja held a ninja sword in his hand and quickly stabbed it towards the back of the little Itachi. Uchiha Itachi kicked his feet back and forth on the ground and dodged to the side. But it would have been better if he hadn't jumped. Once he jumped, a large number of ninjas appeared around him. They all rushed towards Uchiha Itachi with ninja swords in their hands as usual. Uchiha Itachi touched his ninja tool bag, pulled out a few kunai and stabbed them hard at the heart of the comber. The kunai shuttled into the heart of the ninja, and the ninja slowly fell to the ground, but countless ninjas appeared again and rushed towards him. Uchiha Itachi picked up the ninja sword on the ground and started rushing towards a large number of ninjas. After a long time, Uchiha Itachi's sword became very dull, and his muscles became very sore. The 4-year-old body couldn't keep up with Uchiha Itachi's movements. But the ninjas still rushed towards him one after another, as if they didn't want to die. Uchiha Itachi's body began to get heavier and heavier, and finally fell slowly to the ground. Ahem. Is this really true? After killing Uchiha Itachi for a long time, his sense of touch also changed slightly, and there was a little deviation. When the ninja's knife was about to chop Uchiha Itachi's eye socket, Uchiha Itachi's heart was unconsciously lifted. A fatal breath appeared in his heart. He is now carrying not only his own mission, but also Quan's, and the entire Uchiha family. At this moment, Uchiha Itachi began to roar loudly, "I don't accept it." Uchiha Itachi in the same reality also shouted loudly. Bai Li turned around Uchiha Itachi's body, and Uchiha Itachi's chakra began to be absorbed crazily by the piece of paper. Bai Li's fingertips moved slightly, and then the 9-tailed chakra instantly invaded Uchiha Itachi's acupuncture points. At the same time, Uchiha Itachi's condition also stabilized. In the illusion, time stopped. The knife stopped directly 1 centimeter in front of Uchiha Itachi's eye socket, and Uchiha Itachi swallowed a mouthful of saliva. I thought, I have too much to bear now. Is this the reason why I can't fight hard? This sudden realization caused a slight gap in Uchiha Itachi's eyes, and a vertical light lit up directly in front of him. Is this the adults testing me? Bai Li, you know your uncle. Then, Uchiha Itachi's body fell into the feeling of weightlessness again. The environment around him changed again. It was a dark night with a blood moon hanging high in the sky. Behind him were his father, mother, brother, Izumi, Shisui and others. Opposite him was a dark crowd, but in the crowd, every eye had a Sharingan. The night of rebellion. This was the night of rebellion at that time. But now his family was surrounded by all the Uchiha clan members. Every Uchiha clan member was holding a ninja sword in his hand, slowly approaching his direction. Kill. I don't know who shouted on the other side, and countless people rushed towards him in an instant. The ninja swords in their hands flashed a bloody light under the moonlight. Very charming. Then the two teams fought directly together. Countless metal sounds collided back and forth in the crowd. Countless casualties in a moment. But at this time, Uchiha Itachi had just experienced a great battle, and his soul was already extremely tired. But he still endured the pain in his soul and rushed forward with a knife. But there is always a loophole. A shining blade stretched out from the crowd and was about to pierce Uchiha Itachi's body. At this time, Uchiha Itachi couldn't react at all. It was about to kill Uchiha Itachi. A figure quickly appeared in front of Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Izumi helped Uchiha Itachi block this attack. Countless blood flowed out of Uchiha Izumi's stomach in an instant. Uchiha Izumi wanted to say something, but his mouth moved slightly and he still lost his voice. Brother, be careful. This is Uchiha Sasuke running towards Uchiha Itachi, and countless ninja swords appeared in front of him in an instant. Don't come over, Sasuke. But it was too late to say it at this time. Sasuke also fell in a pool of blood and fell to the ground, but still endured the pain and crawled towards Uchiha Itachi. He still murmured, brother. As countless corpses fell around him, Uchiha Itachi felt like he was trapped in a dark black hole, as if the whole world was against him. Holding Uchiha Izumi's body, blood flowed around him. Suddenly, Uchiha Itachi's body showed the rootless fire, Amaterasu. His own Mangekyo Sharingan began to spin wildly. The Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes slowly changed under the high-speed operation and the stimulation of the cold drug effect. The blade-like Sharingan actually changed its form and became 8 blades, and a 5-pointed star appeared in the pupil. Uchiha Itachi's eternal Mangekyo Sharingan was formed. So the huge scene began to collapse continuously. Uchiha Itachi returned directly to reality and suddenly opened his eyes. First, he looked at his hands without any blood, and then he gasped for air. Bai Li looked at the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan that kept turning in Uchiha Itachi's eyes, nodded his head gently, and then walked to the side and cleared the packaging bags on the table. Bai Li quietly picked up the trash. Uchiha Itachi slowly opened his eyes, and rootless fire began to ignite all over his body. Amaterasu. It's really awesome. As expected, all the products produced by the system are high-quality products. Shiratuki stepped forward and patted Uchiha Itachi directly on the shoulder, and Amaterasu was instantly suppressed. Uchiha Itachi also fell to the ground without any strength. Rest your body well now and adjust to your own eyes. Don't completely believe what the third generation says, and I believe that with your current eyes you should be able to protect yourself, so remember that you are darker than your father. A line, do you know? Yes, my lord. Uchiha Itachi still wanted to stand up, but his strength did not allow it. You should have a good rest. Don't forget what I said. Shiratuki glanced at Uchiha Itachi, and then walked out directly. You take good care of your son. Your son is much more precious than you now. Shiratuki patted Uchiha Fugaku's shoulder gently, and then disappeared directly from the spot. Uchiha Fugaku walked in doubtfully. Seeing his son collapsing on the ground without any strength, he stepped over and helped Uchiha Itachi up. Itachi, what's wrong with your body? But when Fugaku was halfway through his words, he saw the round and round eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in Uchiha Itachi's eyes. Uchiha Fugaku remembered the legend among his Uchiha clan. Looking at Itachi excitedly, he was speechless. Itachi, you are the hope for the rise of my Uchiha clan. At this time, Uchiha Fugaku pulled Uchiha Itachi into his arms excitedly. Hokage's office. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo sat opposite each other. Are you sure that the combat power of the current Wood Escape Army cannot be improved? Sarutobi Hiruzen smoked his pipe and looked at Shimura Danzo calmly. Danzo Shimura shook his head. I don't know what's going on, but the current army can't increase its combat power at all. Bah, bah, bah. A bead fell from the bookshelf. Ben Lin's figure appeared around the bookshelf. What's wrong? Sarutobi Hiruzen's tone was unusually cold. Because among the experimental qualities of the same batch, only Ben Lin himself awakened the unique blood inheritance boundary. Another qualified test product has appeared. Immediately, Sandai stood up abruptly. Walking towards the underground, Ben Lin stared at Sandai's back and remained silent. Then followed closely behind Sandai. What are the capabilities of the new generation of experimental subjects? Due to the incomplete fusion with Mudden cells, various blood inheritance boundaries began to appear. Same as me. Ben Lin looked at the third Hokage respectfully. Danzo Shimura stepped forward. It seems that the results of the experimental products are getting better and better recently, but I feel that this is completely insufficient. What do you want? Sarutobi Hiruzen heard what Shimura Danzo said and understood what his old friend meant. The eyes of the Uchiha clan. Danzo Shimura's eyes narrowed slightly. If the first generation cells and the eyes of the Uchiha clan are fused together, that will be the era that belongs to our army. Bah, bah, bah. The third generation frowned, took out his pipe and started smoking, looking at Danzo at this time. The current Uchiha clan is on the same team as us. If we take action against their clan now, it will be like breaking our own path. But, do you really know how powerful our enemy is? Being able to manipulate the nine-tailed Jinchuriki under your nose is an extraordinary strength. What's more, isn't this the time when the Uchiha clan pledges their allegiance? Danzo looked at his old friend who was silent at this time and smiled slightly, with an unknown light shining in his eyes. Go directly to the underground. Of course you are the Hokage, you can weigh this matter yourself. Then, Danzo's figure disappeared into the darkness. Uzumaki Naruto has been living a very happy life these past few days. With no other task, he lazily leaned on a big rock. On the river bank in the distance are Hatake Kakashi and 3 others. At this time, Class 7 was camping in the wild. Naruto Uzumaki jumped up quickly and ran towards the river. The figure directly jumped into the river, dived quickly, and then appeared with a fish in his hand. You guys really can't do it. You haven't caught more fish than I have in a long time. Listening to Uzumaki Naruto's ridicule, Uchiha Sasuke's face darkened. The Sharingan in his eyes also began to rotate slowly. Facing a fish in the river, he quickly stretched out his hand. Then he looked at Uzumaki Naruto provocatively. That's it. Suddenly Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke started to compete. Kakashi Hatake slowly emerged from the river. Looking at the figures of the three people at this time, I slowly recalled my original era. Oh, we really can't go back. Lin, Obito, isn't this the time we had before? Shiratuki's figure instantly appeared next to Hatake Kakashi. Why are you so sad? Maybe you will see them in the future. Senior, you are joking. How could this happen? It is my responsibility to watch these little guys grow up. Bai Li smiled. You really don't know the madness behind the Naruto world. Then he slowly stood up. Don't worry about whether I am right or not. You will know it later. But now your responsibility is more than just this. Looking at the serious Bai Li, Hatake Kakashi asked. What happened now? Nothing, but remember, you must protect these three little guys. Bai Li did not explain the key points of this matter to Hatake Kakashi. Then he disappeared. Alas, third Hokage, now many lines are entangled together. Hatake Kakashi murmured, but his eyes were fixed on the three little guys in the distance. At this time, a figure quickly appeared in front of Hatake Kakashi. Kakashi, the Hokage ordered you to go to the Hokage's office. I see, I'll be there right away. Then the ninja nodded and disappeared. Hatake Kakashi clapped his hands at the three people in the distance. The three people ran over quickly and listened carefully to the orders that Hatake Kakashi would give later. Go back to your own homes and don't come out. Be careful when I'm not here these days. Teacher Kakashi, did something happen? Haruno Sakura looked at Hatake Kakashi in confusion. Only this girl was unaware of this matter. It's nothing, you just need to remember my instructions. It's time to go back quickly. Then, Hatake Kakashi's figure jumped back and forth in the woods and soon disappeared in front of the three people. The three looked at each other. They also listened to Hatake Kakashi's words and returned to their homes. When Hatake Kakashi rushed to the Hokage's office, several Junin with their classes have arrived at the Hokage's office and are waiting. Metkai stepped forward and put his arm around Hatake Kakashi's shoulders. Yoshi, Kakashi, you are finally here. Kakashi Hatake knocked off Metkai's arm and said, can we two grown men stop being so annoying? I still want to maintain a pure friendship between us. Unknowingly, Hatake Kakashi had been led astray by Baitan's fearful thoughts. All that was on his mind was the matter of two grown men. Looking at this moment, there was a hint of disgust in Metkai's eyes, and he directly distanced himself from him. You have something to say. Don't get so close to me. But the very nervous Metkai didn't take this matter seriously at all, and said in the direction of Kakashi Hatake. Let's burn our youth later. Let me tell you that I am not the old Metkai. I have learned a set of boxing techniques. I must win this time. Looking at Metkai who was swearing at this time, Hatake Kakashi suddenly turned into that salty fish eye again and said. Okay. A ninja holding a cigarette looked at Hatake Kakashi and said. Haha, Kakashi, what's the matter with you? Have you watched too much of Kissing Heaven? Asuma Sarutobi, do you also want to see it? Let me tell you, there is a new model of Intimate Paradise coming out recently. Have you seen it? But at this moment, a hand grabbed Sarutobi Asuma's ear. How many people are there? Your mouth is still so cute now. Yuhi Kurenai came out directly from the side, pinched Sarutobi Asuma's ear firmly, and lifted it to the other side. Hey, Hong, I was wrong. I was wrong. Let me go, save me some face. Ahem. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen slowly walked out. Everyone, please be quiet. For a moment, the entire Hokage's office was surprisingly quiet, and all of them looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Those little guys have been training under your hands for a long time now. I have decided to conduct the Chunin exam for your ninjas in 2 years' time. Since the exam venue in 2 years' time will be in our Konoha, so those little guys are the cards we play in Konoha, and we must practice, do you understand? Suddenly the entire Hokage's office was quiet, no one dared to speak. But the next second, the entire Hokage's office seemed to explode. I think their strength is still a little bit lacking. Is it really okay for these little guys to take the Chunin exam? Yes, even Metkai on the side said. I feel like their current strength is not enough. It will be difficult for them to stand out in the Chunin exam in 2 years. But Kakashi Hatake and Asuma Sarutobi watched everything calmly. Because Sarutobi Asuma knows that no one can change the things decided by his old man, not even Junin like them. But why is Hatake Kakashi so calm? Is the strength of the three little guys under him guaranteed? Hatake Kakashi looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen, and his own eyebrows couldn't help but frown. Looking at the old face of Sarutobi Hiruzen, he began to think slowly. Why does the Chunin examination held during this period feel like there is a strong conspiracy? All of a sudden, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes met Hatake Kakashi's. Hatake Kakashi shivered violently. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled slightly at Hatake Kakashi. Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke again and said, "Now that it's been decided, are you going to let me go back on my word and embarrass the whole of Konoha in front of them?" For a moment, all the Junin fell silent. This time, there are 87 people in our Konoha village taking part in the Chunin examination. Are you the only one who is worried, and I am not worried? Those babies are the seedlings of our Konoha village. The inheritors of our will of fire. Really, do you think I didn't think of anything? Suddenly, countless Jonin lowered their heads. The corner of Sarutobi Hiruzen's mouth also curled up with an imperceptible smile. I also know the situation of your team, so I made a list for you. You can take a look at it yourself. An Anbu appeared next to Sarutobi Hiruzen, handing out papers directly to the Jonin present. It was clearly written on the paper. Group 1. Hatake Kakashi, Sarutobi Asuma, Yuhi Kurenai, Metkai. The second group. The third group. There are 8 groups listed all the time. What is this? Why are our people listed? Metkai bumped Kakashi Hatake's shoulder. Do you know what is here? What does this mean? Why are the 4 of us listed together? Hatake Kakashi murmured. Concentrated training. What did you just say? Metkai looked at Kakashi Hatake in confusion, then slapped his arm and asked. Hatake Kakashi suddenly came to his senses. Nothing. Hokage-sama will tell you his intentions, why are you anxious? Hiruzen Sarutobi took a puff of his pipe and said. The paper in your hands now is a list of the exchange training you have conducted in the past 2 years. It is used for mutual communication between you and can also help those little guys improve their level. Soon, countless Jonin began to say. This is good. As expected of the Hokage. This idea is really amazing. Countless flattery instantly hit Sarutobi Hiruzen's face. Sarutobi Hiruzen took out another piece of paper and said. Keep a low profile, you are all Jonin, don't be so exaggerated. This is the training ground for your 4 teams. If you have any problems, go and negotiate privately. If you can't solve it, come to me. Hatake Kakashi looked at the distribution of the training grounds in his hand and fell into silence again. Why is the training ground of his group at the farthest point? Does Sarutobi Hiruzen not want to monitor Naruto? But Might Guy beside him directly hugged his neck and took him outside. We can finally burn our youth together. Hatake Kakashi rolled his eyes and looked at Might Guy, who had never given up his passion in his memory. He gritted his teeth and said, I won't beat the shit out of you today. I won't watch Intimate Paradise anymore. Suddenly, Might Guy's blood seemed to be aroused. Yoshi, then let's go to the grove over there. I'll show you my boxing skills. Then, the 2 of them ran directly and quickly towards the woods of the Hokage Rock. Behind them, Asuma Sarutobi and Kurenai Yuhi sighed slightly and said. Let's go and take a look too. In the grove, Metkai was lying on the ground with burnt scars all over his body. Kakashi Hatake next to him also had a bruised nose and swollen face, covering his face and grinning. He said while looking at the affectionate paradise in his hand. It smells so good. Sarutobi Asuma and Yuhi Kurenai walked slowly. You guys are really going to kill me. Sarutobi Asuma stepped forward and snatched the intimacy paradise from Hatake Kakashi's hands, and sat down next to Hatake Kakashi. Hey, you're sitting on my hand. The chakra in Kakashi Hatake's body instantly began to riot. He jumped up and landed on Asuma Sarutobi. Sarutobi Asuma's body was kicked out. Hatake Kakashi limped and picked up the intimacy paradise on the ground and blew the dust on it. He sat down again and began to look at the art. Sarutobi Asuma painfully held his butt and stretched out his body from the pit. I said, what do you think? Isn't it just a book about making out in heaven? Hey, your strength is really not small. You're sitting on my hand. I don't need Chidori to be very fond of you. Hatake Kakashi raised his dead fish eyes and glanced at Sarutobi Asuma. Yuhi glanced at Sarutobi Asuma and sat on a tree stump. Tell me, What exactly is Sandai doing today? Isn't everything that old man did a very normal thing? Anyway, I've never seen him do a normal thing. Anyway, I'm used to it now. Sarutobi Asuma took out a cigarette from his arms, lit it and started smoking. Then the two of them also looked at Hatake Kakashi. I have nothing to say. Since the Hokage has decided, we can only execute it. There is no other way. Then, Hatake Kakashi kicked Metkai, who was still lying on the body. Metkai sat up all of a sudden and exhaled a stream of gray smoke from his mouth. What's wrong? What's wrong? Let me ask you, what do you think of today's situation? What do you think? Huh, what the hell? Kakashi Hatake patted his forehead, looked at Metkai at this time and said. You won't be fooled, will you? Kurenai Yuhi and Asuma Sarutobi looked at the pair of good friends in front of them and closed their eyes unconsciously. Metkai suddenly came back to his senses. Asuma and Kurenai are here. What's wrong? Sarutobi Asuma covered his forehead and said speechlessly. It's nothing, nothing. Just keep burning your youth. We'll leave first. Afterwards, Sarutobi Asuma and Yuhi Kurenai left the Hokage Rock directly. After a while, Metkai and Hatake Kakashi were the only ones left in the woods. Metkai's expression instantly became serious. Kakashi, something is wrong with the Hokage's plan today. Very wrong. You just found out. Although I'm crazy, I'm not stupid, okay. Do you really think I didn't see the eye contact between the third generation and you? Metkai asked Hatake Kakashi seriously. Could it be that Hokage-sama's plan today is for your Team 7? Kakashi Hatake didn't know what words to use to answer his close friend, and fell silent immediately. Don't tell me it's true. Suddenly, Metkai collapsed on the ground, staring at the sky. I really didn't expect that. At this moment, the entire forest was silent, and Hatake Kakashi's intimate paradise did not know when it fell to the ground. After a long time, Metkai stood up slowly and gently patted Hatake Kakashi on the shoulder. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone, but as your good friend, I still hope you can correct your mistakes in time. After all, this is the Leaf Village. This sentence seemed to conspire in Hatake Kakashi's brain. Konoha Village, Konoha Village. Hokage-sama. At this moment, Hatake Kakashi actually thought of his father, Hatake Sagumo, and his former comrade Uchiha Obito. His father died at the hands of pedantic villagers. But I simply don't believe that there is no push from Konoha's top management. As he thought about it, boundless anger appeared in Kakashi Hatake's eyes, and he thought of the fake smile of the third generation. Hatake Kakashi's hand began to creak. Metkai saw Hatake Kakashi's own eyes suddenly shrinking, and stepped forward to squeeze his palm. This is Konoha Village, are you crazy? Under Metkai's guidance, Hatake Kakashi slowly let go of his palm and stood up calmly. Those eyes were full of coldness. The whole body is filled with endless murderous aura. I know, I understand everything. Then, Hatake Kakashi calmly held his kunai and slowly walked towards his home. Might Guy looked at Hatake Kakashi with a heavy face and sighed slightly. Hey Kakashi, what will happen in Konoha again? Then he did not stay and started running around the entire Konoha village. The next morning, Teacher Kakashi, what are we going to train today? Uzumaki Naruto put his hands in his pockets and jumped in front. We will start to change our training methods from today, come here. Hatake Kakashi raised his eyes and looked at the three people seriously. The four people gathered in a small circle, and Hatake Kakashi put his hand directly on Uzumaki Naruto's shoulder. But the sharp-eyed Naruto saw that Hatake Kakashi's hand was wrapped in white gauze. Teacher, it's not important. Remember, when you get to that place, you need to hide your strength and not expose it. You also can't expose the fact that Naruto has great strength, understand? The three looked at Hatake Kakashi, who was getting more and more serious at this time. He also nodded his head. I remember. Just remember it, no matter who it is, you can't tell. Let's go. A training ground on the edge of Konoha, 3 Jonin and 9 members were already waiting here. Hatake Kakashi led Team 7 slowly from a distance. Kakashi, you are still late. Asuma Sarutobi said directly. Ha ha ha, our class met a bunch of old ladies, and helped the old ladies cross the road, so we were delayed. Chapter 51. As the 3-year Chunin examination begins. One village after another came to Konoha Village. Bai Li lay on the Hokage rock and looked at the large group of buildings below. He raised his hand slightly, gesticulating above the buildings, and kept making sounds in his mouth. Bang! It's really a pity. The huge Konoha village will turn into an abyss after this. There was a crazy look on Bai Li's handsome face, and the light in his eyes kept changing. This is the nature of Bai Li. A complete lunatic. At this time, a group of people came slowly from the distance in Konoha village. They were young ninjas from various ninja villages. Suna Ninja Village, Omegakure Village, Kusanagi Ninja Village, Taki Ninja Village and Odo Ninja Village. 66 young ninjas followed the Junin. Sarutobi Hiruzen saw a person, stepped forward and held his hand and said, Luo Sha, why are you here in person? How can we, Suna Ninja Village, not pay attention to the Chunin examination? Didn't I come here to have a drink with you? Ha ha ha. Sarutobi Hiruzen embraced Rasa into the tavern, turned around and said to Ben Lin behind him. Go and see if the cage is in Suna Ninja Village. Yes. Uzumaki Naruto walked lazily on the street and looked at a strange-looking person. He stepped forward to take a look and saw that this man was carrying a huge package. Hello, Uzumaki Naruto asked as he patted Kankuro's shoulder gently with his palm. What is that big guy behind you? It's nothing, it's just my little prop. Kankuro glanced at the forehead protector on Uzumaki Naruto's forehead and said. Stop talking, I'm going to talk to my brothers and sisters. Then he directly tightened the package behind his back. Walking towards Tamari, Uzumaki Naruto looked at Kankuro's back without paying any attention, thinking, Master said, no matter how strong these people are, they are not as strong as myself. If you don't want to pay attention to me, I will not pay attention to you. Then he jumped up and down humming a little tune and walked away from here. What's wrong? Tamari asked, looking at Kankuro who was cautious at this moment. At the same time, Gaara also cast his gaze over. Nothing, just a ninja from Konoha. Time also passed quickly, and a group of little guys came to the stage of the written examination. Everyone was sitting in a large classroom and started chattering. Why hasn't the examiner come here yet? Isn't this waiting time too long? Each sentence directly covered up the sound of footsteps. A man with a terrifying scar on his face walked directly into the room, holding a stack of test papers in his hand. He raised his voice and said, What I have in my hand is your test paper. Listen carefully, I will only tell you the content of this test once, 9 competition questions. You are not allowed to cheat in a clumsy way. If you are caught 5 times, you will be eliminated. You can't do an additional question if you like it. Do. Then the ferocious-looking man handed the test paper in his hand directly to the ninja beside him. When all the test papers are handed into the hands of the candidates, Morino Ihiki knocked on the table and said, The exam begins. But at this time, the moment Naruto got the paper, he kept calling in his heart. Master, what should we do? If you don't know, just eat it cold. Bai Li found a nail clipper from somewhere, picked it up and said lazily. Don't be like this, Master, you are the best. Conditions. No, it seems you have no conditions to exchange with me. In an instant, Uzumaki Naruto's figure suddenly appeared in the sealed space. Holding Bai Li's thigh, he began to cry loudly. Master, you can't treat your disciple like this. Your disciple still wants to be promoted to Chunin. Disciple will buy you your favorite melon. Buy 10 copies of Intimate Heaven. Bai Tan's eyes lit up, but he regained his composure and lifted Uzumaki Naruto's chin. That's it, you really think you are that dirty as a teacher. But Bai Li hadn't finished speaking yet. Naruto Uzumaki clenched his fists and shouted. 15 books. No more. Make a deal. Bai Li waved his hand towards another darkness in the sealed space. Minato's figure quickly appeared in front of Uzumaki Naruto. Minato, you go and guide this boy. I gave you a plug-in and if you don't cherish it, you really don't blame me. Bai Li looked at Uzumaki Naruto who looked desperate and said slowly. But Uzumaki Naruto was not weak at all, and directly hugged Namikaze Minato's thigh. Dad, I am your dear son. I can't fail this exam. I am the Hokage's son. Tell me about the Hokage's son, what will they think if they fail the Chunin exam? Dad, you don't have to think about me, you have to think about your own reputation. In an instant, Naruto was crying with mucus flowing from his nose. Namikaze Minato looked at his son speechlessly and pried his hand hard with his own hand, but it had no effect. Okay, I get it. I'll guide you from behind. Why are you still crying? You'll be satisfied if your dad cries to death. After hearing this, Naruto stood up instantly and looked at Minato Namikaze with a smile on his face. He hugged him directly and said, "Thank you, Dad. Okay, I really don't know who you learned this robe from. You go back first." Minato Namikaze touched Naruto Uzumaki's head, with a hint of pampering at the corner of his mouth. But Bai Li, who was sitting on the top of the 9 tails in the distance, changed his face slightly after hearing this. Is he implying me? But Bai Li thought about the 15 books of Intimate Paradise and stopped thinking about it. Instead, he lay directly on the 9 tails and began to close his eyes and rest. I still have a tough battle to fight. I can't argue with them. When Naruto Uzumaki came to his senses, the little guys present have already begun to show their magical powers. Kiba Inuzuka used his dog Akamaru to peek at other people's papers. Shino Aburame used her little bug to peek at other people's papers. Countless methods began to emerge in this examination room. Uzumaki Naruto picked up his pen with great interest, thinking secretly, "Daddy, it's our turn." Okay, Naruto, listen carefully, the answer to the first 9 questions is. Suddenly, Uzumaki Naruto's pen began to move, and his desk was actually brought out by the pen. People around him all cast strange eyes. Haruno Sakura looked at Uzumaki Naruto at this time and thought, this guy, can he really do it? But when Namikaze Minato saw the last question, he murmured, this question is really always there. Then, looking at Uzumaki Naruto's paper, he said faintly, son, don't blame me for being nosy. Your handwriting is really amazing. You should stop writing in the future. Uzumaki Naruto. The competition ended quickly with the fast hand speed of Uzumaki Naruto. Everyone walked out of the examination room leisurely. Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura also moved towards Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto, when did you become so powerful? The two couldn't help their doubts and asked Uzumaki Naruto at this time. Isn't this kind of thing easy for me? This is a piece of cake for me. Then Uzumaki Naruto directly put on the appearance of a top student, put his hands behind his back and walked forward. Sasuke saw Naruto like this and went up and punched Naruto on the top of his head. What are you pretending to be? Really, we don't know what you look like. Finally, he hit the corner of his clothes, and no longer cared about Naruto who was lying on the ground and didn't know whether he was dead or alive, and walked forward. Haruno Sakura looked at Uzumaki Naruto and then at Uchiha Sasuke. Then he ran and caught up with Uchiha Sasuke. Uzumaki Naruto. No love, really no one cares about me. Then the afternoon time is still the same. Sasuke follows Hatake Kakashi to learn lightning escape. Haruno Sakura practices her throwing skills. And Uzumaki Naruto is still lying on the tree branch, chewing grass and looking like a fish. Time passed quickly, and everyone came to the second level of the exam. The next morning, the entrance of the Death Forest. 2 ninjas stood here waiting for the examiner to arrive. A group of little guys have already started their chattering. Why are the examiners at each level so lazy? Yes, one comes later than the other. Just when she said this, a woman walked out slowly with a 3-color ball in her hand. I am your examiner this time, Mitarashi Anko. I really hope you can all pass this time, but you can only pass 13 groups this time. As soon as these words came out, there was an unprecedented commotion in the whole venue. 13 groups. We only have 26 groups here, so does that mean we have to eliminate half of the people? Mitarashi Anko was not very surprised, and ate a bunch of meatballs calmly. Throwing away the bamboo stick in her hand, she said, it may not be 13 groups, but there is a time limit. You need to pass through the Death Forest to reach your destination in 5 days, and you need to get a pair of Heaven and Earth scrolls in your hands to pass. At this time, Mitarashi Anko nodded to a Chunin, and then the Chunin took out a pile of papers and flipped them one by one. Candidates who take the second exam must sign this consent form, because once this exam starts, you can't give up, and there is a high probability that someone will die, so you have to sign this contract first, and life and death are unpredictable. Then Mitarashi Anko winked at the 2 ninjas beside him. The 2 Chunins began to create a closed space. Next, come in one group to get your scrolls. Soon, 13 pairs of heaven and earth scrolls were quickly handed over to the 26 groups. Mitarashi Anko slowly opened her mouth and said, "You need to kill the other party in these 5 days, get the earth scroll or sky scroll in their hands, and reach the destination to be considered successful. Now I wish you good luck, let's start." Then Mitarashi Anko's hands quickly turned into pythons and jumped towards the distance. The 26 groups of people also gradually entered the death forest. Uzumaki Naruto and the other 2 entered the forest. Looking at his team members calmly. "We got the earth scroll, so we need to get another sky scroll to pass this exam." Finally, Naruto paused and said, "We now have 2 ways, one is to rob, and the other is to wait for others to rob. That is equivalent to 1 passive and 1 active." Uchiha Sasuke's aura suddenly changed. Became very sharp. "Then why don't we go and rob? Instead of passively waiting for others to come to me, why don't we go find others?" Uzumaki Naruto listened to Uchiha Sasuke's thoughts and clapped his hands suddenly. "This idea coincides with my idea." But Haruno Sakura looked at the 2 worriedly. "Is it really okay for us to do this? Womanly kindness. What's good or bad? Konoha is ours." Uzumaki Naruto was furious when he heard Haruno Sakura's worry. "Besides, Sakura, don't you believe me? Can't I protect you with my strength?" Haruno Sakura looked at Uzumaki Naruto at this time, and he looked like the boss. She nodded speechlessly. Hollow up pointing triangle. "Yes, yes, yes, Naruto is the best. Then what are we waiting for? Naruto's team is out." Then the team of 3 people put on the momentum of 80 people and pushed forward. After the 3 left, a figure appeared on the tree branch. "These little guys are really interesting." Coincidentally, the person who came was Uchiha Shisui. Uchiha Shisui heard Bai Li's order and came to look at the 3 little guys. "I was afraid that the 3 little guys would get excited and ignore everything." Uchiha Shisui shook his head on the spot, and then his figure turned into a crow and flew forward. But then different people appeared on the same tree branch. Orochimaru's figure appeared on the tree branch. "I really don't know what the adults are thinking. Let me bite Uchiha Sasuke secretly with Naruto's high combat power. Isn't this like pulling teeth out of a tiger's mouth and committing suicide?" A drop of cold sweat left in Orochimaru's heart. Thinking of Naruto's combat power, his body couldn't help but shiver. But he still gritted his teeth, released a small snake in his hand, and ran forward quickly. But on the other side of the death forest, countless corpses appeared in the woods. Gaara took Kankuro and Temari and slowly strangled countless ninjas from the ninja village. Gaara pinched a ninja to death with sand and said with disdain, "These guys are really not challenging at all. Let's hurry to the center of the death forest. How many scrolls have we collected now?" Temari opened her bag and said, 5 heavenly scrolls and 3 earthly scrolls are enough for us to pass the level." Gaara looked at the center of the death forest, and interest appeared in his eyes. There was also a touch of killing in his eyes. "I am getting more and more interested in the strong men in this forest. Let's hurry over there, I can't wait any longer." On the other side of the forest, 3 people from the Sound Ninja. They were also constantly slaughtering ninjas from various ninja villages. "Our mission should be basically completed, right? Almost. We should enter the next level. Okay, let's go quickly and don't delay Lord Orochimaru's plan." At the same time, the 3 Sound Ninjas also quickly rushed to the center of the death forest. While walking, Naruto suddenly slapped himself on the head. "Am I stupid? Why don't we just wait in the middle of the death forest?" At this point, Naruto slapped his head again. Hiss. This idea is really terrifying. Only smart people can think of it. Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura looked at Uzumaki Naruto speechlessly. "Can you do it? Can you come up with a more accurate idea?" Uzumaki Naruto glanced at Uchiha Sasuke. "What do you know? You will never understand the world of smart people. Alas, this is the invincible thought of smart people. No one can understand me. It's so sad and lamentable." Naruto held his hands behind his back and ran quickly towards the center of the death forest. Uchiha Sasuke, looking at Uzumaki Naruto leaving, was about to follow him. A small snake quickly bit him on the ankle. Ah! Pain suddenly enveloped Uchiha Sasuke's whole body. A 3 Magatama shape quickly appeared on Uchiha Sasuke's ankle. Then the little snake disappeared in place. What's wrong? What's wrong? Uzumaki Naruto's figure quickly appeared next to Uchiha Sasuke like a gust of wind. Sasuke, he was bitten by a snake. Haruno Sakura said anxiously from the side. Uzumaki Naruto gently rolled up Uchiha Sasuke's trousers. Look at the two small openings above. The nine-tailed chakra in his hand was instantly covered. The wound on Uchiha Sasuke's ankle began to heal quickly. Uzumaki Naruto patted it gently. It's okay, it's no big deal. Isn't this bad? How can a grown man be so chattering? Uzumaki Naruto glanced at Uchiha Sasuke with disgust, and then walked forward. Haruno Sakura slowly helped Uchiha Sasuke up. Uchiha Sasuke looked in the direction of Uzumaki Naruto and shouted. Don't you know if you try it yourself? It hurts a lot, okay. But the two of them didn't say much, and quickly rushed towards the middle of the forest of death. The three-person team left quickly, and Uchiha Shisui's figure also appeared here. Looking at the silent forest, Uchiha Shisui's face gradually became serious. Isn't Orochimaru-sama, one of the former three ninjas, still unwilling to come out? Suddenly there was a violent wind in the forest, and a pale-faced monster man appeared on the branch of a tree. He is indeed a genius boy of the Uchiha clan. He can detect my aura so obviously. Orochimaru licked the corner of his mouth and stared at Uchiha Shisui at this time. Of course, I will never forget the smell of Orochimaru-sama in my life. The only snake smell in the entire ninja world, it is really pungent. Excessive praise. Suddenly, a ninja sword appeared in Uchiha Shisui's hand, and he stared at Orochimaru and said seriously. What is your purpose in coming to Konoha? Why did you attack Uchiha Sasuke? It's nothing, it's just a mission. Orochimaru looked at Uchiha Shisui at this time with murderous intent. In an instant, Uchiha Shisui's teleportation technique was launched directly behind Orochimaru, and he slashed hard with his sword. Orochimaru's strength should not be underestimated. His arms quickly turned into countless venomous snakes, biting fiercely in the direction of Uchiha Shisui. Fire release. Fireball technique. Uchiha Shisui also reacted quickly, using the teleportation technique to directly distance himself, and a huge fireball spit out from his throat. But at this moment, the snake in Orochimaru's arm actually jumped out of the fire. Uchiha Shisui's Sharingan began to rotate rapidly, and instantly turned into a Mangekyo Sharingan. Directly distanced himself from Orochimaru at this time. Fire release. Dragon fire technique. The three fire dragons quickly pounced on Orochimaru. Die together with Orochimaru's poisonous snake. You are indeed a genius ninja of the Uchiha family, so can you escape with this ninjutsu? At this time, Orochimaru was already murderous because Uchiha Shisui knew his secret and must not keep it. The formation of 10,000 snakes. Suddenly, a large number of snakes appeared from the ground and formed a tornado attack in the direction of Uchiha Shisui. For a moment, Uchiha Shisui couldn't react at all. Swallowed by countless snakes. It's over, the genius boy of the Uchiha clan. Orochimaru turned his body confidently, and countless snakes began to explode, burying Uchiha Shisui. But a green light quickly appeared in the smoke. Green arrows shot out fiercely from the smoke. Orochimaru's eyes quickly shrank and he hurriedly evaded to the side. It really surprises me, Shisui-kun. You Uchiha clan amaze me more and more. Orochimaru looked at the green skeleton slowly rising from the smoke in surprise. The surprise in his eyes kept flashing. Orochimaru finally unleashed his full strength. Starting around Susanoo at this time, Shisui's eye power was continuously consumed. He said while hiding, "It seems that this is the first time Shisui-kun has used this kind of attack method, and he is so unfamiliar with it." In the end, Shisui knelt weakly on the ground. He used his ninja sword to hold his body tightly. Orochimaru stood in front of Uchiha Shisui. A snake appeared in his hand, and he was going to dig out Uchiha Shisui's eyes. Bang! A fox mask fell to the ground. Orochimaru's snake was only 1 millimeter away from Uchiha Shisui's eyes. But he still stopped his behavior abruptly. But the consequence of doing this was that Orochimaru spit out a mouthful of blood. You were also sent here by the adults. Then Orochimaru quickly took out a fox mask from his arms. Suddenly Orochimaru and Uchiha Shisui burst into tears looking at each other's wounds. You all have to beat Neong Exupi by yourself. In the middle of the forest of death, Gaara arrived here first. Looking at the empty destination, Gaara's eyebrows furrowed involuntarily. Has no one arrived at this central location and waited? Just as Gaara thought about this, a splashing sound came from the woods in the distance. Uzumaki Naruto's figure quickly emerged from inside. He, I knew I was the first smart person to come up with this idea. Naruto Uzumaki, who was holding countless leaves, just looked at Gaara, who was eye to eye with him, mind to heart. In an instant, the atmosphere on the field condensed. Ah! Uzumaki Naruto started shouting on the spot. Why isn't I the first one? Boy, what is your purpose here? Gaara said speechlessly, leaving a trace of black lines on his forehead. Kill. Upon hearing Gaara, who had completely different ideas from his own, Uzumaki Naruto's expression instantly became happy. I know that such an advanced idea can only be thought of by myself. Wait, you said you were here. But before he could finish his words, a stream of sand quickly surged in the direction of Uzumaki Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto's figure quickly turned into several clones, walking towards the side. How dare you sneak up on me? Are you tired of living? Uzumaki Naruto looked at this boy with dark circles under his eyes, and the anger in his heart suddenly rose. Countless clones rubbed the Rasengan directly and went up. Gaara's little hand suddenly grabbed it. A huge sand ball appeared directly and crushed countless clones to death. Earth escape. The art of beheading in the heart. Naruto's figure quickly emerged from Gaara's feet and hugged his thigh tightly. Uzumaki Naruto appeared behind Gaara again and kicked Gaara directly in the head. The huge force directly caused Gaara's body to fly backwards. A large number of broken marks appeared all over Gaara's body instantly. That's Gaara's ninjutsu, the armor of sand. Gaara slowly climbed up, a large amount of sand began to fall from his body, and a bloodthirsty smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. It's really an exciting battle. When I saw your death, my own blood started to riot. Uzumaki Naruto looked at this perverted Gaara, and his own expression also showed a trace of displeasure. The figure disappeared directly from the spot. Holding the Rasengan, he started pressing it directly towards Gaara's body. But a streak of sand suddenly appeared, and a huge sand shield appeared next to Gaara. The Rasengan continued to rub against the sand shield, making a harsh sound. But it still didn't break Gaara's sand shield. That's the love that belongs to his mother, Galuro, absolute defense. Gaara slowly turned his body, and countless sand began to cover Naruto Uzumaki's body crazily. Uzumaki Naruto was imprisoned in an instant. Gaara also had a proud smile on his face. The palms began to shrink slowly. The sound of broken bones is the most beautiful. But at this time, Uzumaki Naruto learned a mouth shape from Gaara. What? Suddenly Gaara was a little confused, but Uzumaki Naruto's figure turned into a white smoke. But the next second, countless Uzumaki Naruto appeared directly in the sky, holding a Rasengan in their hands. Multiple shadow clones. Those kidneys and liver. After that, countless Rasengans began to hit Gaara's body like a violent storm. Suddenly, countless smoke and a huge pothole appeared in the entire forest. The smoke slowly dissipated, Gaara's eyes were empty, and the sand shield all over his body was broken. Just lying in the sand pit like that, Kankuro and Temari hurriedly ran from a distance and looked at Uzumaki Naruto standing in front of the pit. Uzumaki Naruto smiled slightly at Kankuro and Temari, and their bodies trembled violently. Then he went straight down into the pit and hurriedly helped Gaara up and said, Gaara, what's wrong, are you okay? Slowly, Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura also came here, but they didn't show that much surprise. He walked up to Uzumaki Naruto and said, What's going on? Naruto Uzumaki looked at the three people in the pit and touched his nose. It's nothing, it's just that Master Naruto from Battle of Heaven and Earth defeated a few minions. Uchiha Sasuke looked at the arrogant Uzumaki Naruto and said speechlessly, You stinky guy, you are so annoying. Pretending to be your boss. Afterwards, the three of them were silent, turned around and squatted on the ground, looking at the three people in the pit in a daze. Hey, do you need help? Uzumaki Naruto stretched his neck and said to the three people in the pit. That's troublesome, help us move this brother up. Temari looked at Uzumaki Naruto above the pit and said honestly. At this time, she understood that Uzumaki Naruto and his team were the biggest demons in this Chunin exam. But Naruto looked at Temari and said, "You have to pay the price. I can't just help you. Besides, it was your brother who attacked me first. There's no way I can justify it." Naruto conjured a small bench out of nowhere, sat on it, and imitated the white raccoon dog, touching his nails as if nothing had happened. "I don't know, what do you want?" After hearing this, Naruto could no longer pretend to be an expert, and a lewd smile instantly appeared on his face. Temari and Kankuro were so frightened that they took a step back unconsciously. Question mark question mark question mark question mark. "Kankuro, you have to back off." Uzumaki Naruto stretched out his finger and pointed at Temari. "I want the sky scroll." Temari was visibly relieved after hearing this, patted her chest, took out a sky scroll from her pocket and threw it over. Uzumaki Naruto didn't say much, and 4 clouds of smoke quickly exploded around him. 4 Narutos came out directly. "You guys go and help me." But the clone summoned this time seemed to be broken mouth and said to Naruto, "You can find us with this kind of physical work, but you can't find us an easy job." "That's right, we never had any easy jobs." The 3 clones expressed their opinions one after another, and then the 3 clones looked at the 4th clone who was silent at this time. The 4th clone touched his head and said with a sigh, "Eldest brother, second brother, and third brother are right." Cut. But there was a huge force coming from behind the 4 of them. Uzumaki Naruto didn't know when he walked behind the 4 clones and kicked each of them down the hole. "Where does all this nonsense come from? Hurry up and work, otherwise you won't be able to eat." At this time, Uzumaki Naruto looked particularly like a foreman, standing on top of the pit and yelling at the 4 clones. "Just do it, why are you shouting so loudly?" Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura looked at Uzumaki Naruto's action and felt a little bit of distress in their hearts. Skilled in making people feel distressed. Under what circumstances can this be achieved? How cruel that adult was to Naruto. Bai Li lay on the Huiying rock and shivered hard. His grandma, who is missing me. Good things can't be found in me. With the help of Naruto's shadow clone, Gaara and the other 3 were quickly lifted out of the pit. Temari helped Gaara pass by Uzumaki Naruto. Gaara slowly raised his eyelids and said to Uzumaki Naruto, "You are strong, but the battle between us is still not over. Sooner or later you will die in my hands." Uzumaki Naruto looked at Gaara who still persisted and did not speak, but slowly raised his middle finger. "Learn Bailey's movements. I'll wait." But 3 figures appeared behind Uzumaki Naruto, quietly tiptoeing towards their destination. The 3 people from the Sound Ninja village slowly walked past Uzumaki Naruto. Afraid of making some noise. Naruto heard the noise and turned his head. Tuss anvil, Saxon stirrup, gold fiddle. He stopped for a moment. Standing in place honestly, Uzumaki Naruto winked at them, and they winked at Uzumaki Naruto. "Which village are you from?" "We are from the Sound Ninja village." Toss and Jen and the 3 received Orochimaru's order, but they did not dare to take action against Uzumaki Naruto. They had also seen Uzumaki Naruto's strength just now, and they stood still and did not dare to move. Okay, you go in first." Naruto Uzumaki waved his hand and turned towards his team. Toss and Anvil were relieved and ran towards their destination. "Let's go, there shouldn't be anything going on now, there's still the next level waiting for us." The 3 of them also nodded their heads and walked towards their destination. Someone at the destination is receiving the arriving ninja. When they saw Naruto and the 3 of them, they couldn't help but be surprised. Why did they come so early? Although he had doubts in his heart, he didn't show it. Uzumaki Naruto handed the scroll of heaven and earth in his team to the ninja at this time. "This is the scroll of heaven and earth for our team." The ninja nodded and checked. Then Team Gaara, Team Naruto Uzumaki, and Team Toss Anvil stood together. Ninja said to them, "Since you arrived relatively early, you can go back to your home and reorganize yourself. We will notify you again in 5 days for the 3rd competition." Uzumaki Naruto stretched lazily after hearing the ninja's words. "I knew that this uncle was the best. What kind of challenge is it? Aren't you vulnerable to this uncle? Go home and go to bed." In this way, the remaining 8 ninjas taking the Chunin exams and the 2 Chunin who were packing their destination watched Uzumaki Naruto holding his head and walking slowly back home. The Chunin put away the scroll of heaven and earth, looked at Haruno Sakura and said, Has he always been like this? Sasuke turned his head and looked at the Chunin and said. Are you asking us? Yes. We don't know him. In fact, we are not in the same team. Then Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura walked away. Tisk, that's really weird. How can three people with different personalities form a team? This is the most puzzling point for this Chunin, and this team is still so harmonious. Then the Chunin threw the scroll of heaven and earth aside and said. Just watch, I feel like no ninjas are coming, so I fell asleep. The 5th day passed by in a hurry. Only 21 people passed the second level of the Chunin exam. The remaining 21 people came to the Chunin exam qualifiers. A very sick examiner stood on the high platform and flipped through a stack of white paper. I am the examiner of your exam, Moonlight Hayate. By the way, this examiner looks very sick and frail. Moonlight Gale coughed a few times, said. This game is to select 10 pairs from 20 people. 2 people from each team compete, and only the winner can advance to the next level. But now you have 21 people in the lottery mode, and there is a blank piece of paper. If someone draws this blank piece of paper, they can participate in the next game without having to compete. But one of the 21 people stretched out his hand. It was a young man wearing glasses. It was Kabuto Yakushi. I abstain, I quit voluntarily. Moonlight Hayate raised his eyes slightly, glanced at Yakushi Kabuto and said. Are you serious? If you give up now, your Chunin exam will also be declared a failure, and you will lose the qualification to be promoted to Chunin. I'm sure you'll lose if you go, why not surrender? After that, Kabuto Yakushi turned around, waved his hand to the audience, and walked out slowly. The moonlight blast did not stop it. Then he said. Then now is the 10 versus 10 qualifiers. Come up and draw the opponents you will face. The sequence was extracted quickly. Uchiha Sasuke is the first to appear. Uzumaki Naruto said next to Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke, you will be sorry to me if you don't win. As my younger brother, of course you must be very strong. Uchiha Sasuke hammered Naruto's head in displeasure. Who is your little brother? I will definitely win too. Haruno Sakura shouted from the side. Come on Sasuke. In this way, both sides stood on the round platform. Uchiha Sasuke's opponent is a former Konoha student named Akane Kai. He wore glasses and his face was covered, so it was impossible to judge what he looked like. But the chakra fluctuations throughout his body are very mysterious. I didn't expect that the one I was fighting was the young master of the Uchiha clan. In the end, I won the battle. Uchiha Sasuke stared seriously at the annoying man in front of him. He said coldly. Did you really think you were going to win? Then Uchiha Sasuke's figure suddenly rushed out. He raised his foot and kicked the red body armor's arm hard. Akado Kai reacted very quickly and directly blocked Uchiha Sasuke's calf. A weak chakra wave came from the arm of Akado Kai. Uchiha Sasuke frowned slightly and kicked his leg to retreat directly. What a strange touch, what is this guy's ability? Naruto stood on the platform and frowned. Because the small chakra wave was clearly sensed in front of him. Then he stood on the platform and shouted loudly. Sasuke, he is absorbing your chakra and converting it into his power. Be careful, don't embarrass me, your big brother. Uchiha Sasuke understood everything in an instant. Akado Kai frowned and muttered to Uzumaki Naruto on the platform. What a nasty little guy. But Uchiha Sasuke on the opposite side began to quickly form a seal. Fire style. Great fireball technique. The huge fireball rushed directly towards the direction of Akado Kai. But Akado Kai was not panicked at all, and quickly formed seals with his hands. Water escape. Great flow technique. A stream of water instantly rushed towards the great fireball technique. Countless white mists instantly spread over the entire sphere. The figures of Akado Kai and Uchiha Sasuke were directly hidden. But the sound of constant fighting came from the smoke. Uchiha Sasuke stared at his surroundings cautiously. He was afraid that Akado Kai would suddenly rush out from any corner. But an iron fist suddenly hit him in front of him. In an instant, Sasuke's figure turned directly into a substitute wood and fled into the distance. It's really an anxious ninjutsu. Uchiha Sasuke moved away from Akado Kai at this time. The Sharingan in his eyes began to rotate slowly. Akado Kai. At this time, Uchiha Sasuke was forming a seal in his heart. Magic Hellfire technique. Waves of chakra began to radiate from Akado Kai's body. This is Akado Kai's famous ninjutsu. The technique activated with one's own spiritual energy, using chakra to interfere with the opponent's facial features, disrupting the opponent's chakra, and making him fall into hallucinations. Uchiha Sasuke shook his head vigorously. Do you really think this ninjutsu will have any effect on me? At this time, Uchiha Sasuke was no longer the original Uchiha Sasuke. Under the training of his brother Itachi, day and night, under Itachi's eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Sasuke's spiritual power began to increase continuously. Then he stared at the Akado Kai in front of him and spit out 3 fire dragons in an instant. Fire style. Great Dragon Fire Technique. Finally, Sasuke's figure jumped back and forth behind the fire dragon. Konoha Taijutsu, Lion Bomb. In an instant, Sasuke's figure reached the vicinity of Akado Kai. Lion Bomb was fired directly. This is also a taijutsu modified from Konoha's Otorenka. Instantly kicked Akado Kai's body out. This fight also ended with Sasuke's victory. After several battles, there were also several winners. Konoha's Aburame Shino won, Sunagakuro won. But Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino did not advance. Sunagakure Tamari also won. Konoha's Nara Shikamaru also won. The next match was Naruto Uzumaki's. Naruto Uzumaki stretched his lazy waist and jumped from the audience to the round stage. And Naruto Uzumaki's opponent was Kiba Inuzuka. Kiba Inuzuka held Akamaru and raised his hand and said, "I give up, I don't want to fight with this pervert." "Hey, how can you be like this? I don't want to fight with you." But Kiba Inuzuka glanced at Naruto Uzumaki. "I don't know your strength yet. I don't want to rush to die." Naruto Uzumaki. Kiba Inuzuka, your uncle. Naruto Uzumaki quickly pounced on Kiba Inuzuka. Akamaru was also thrown aside. Howling on the side. Naruto Uzumaki, you don't have martial ethics, I have already admitted defeat. Kiba Inuzuka kept howling under Naruto Uzumaki. The Chunin on the side went forward and tried to pull Naruto away. But Naruto was thrown out directly. Inuzuka Kiba stared at the gap, got out directly, picked up Akamaru and ran away. "I won't fight with you, oh, I'll make you angry to death." Soon Inuzuka Kiba's figure disappeared from Uzumaki Naruto's sight. Uzumaki Naruto. Filled down pointing triangle he filled down pointing triangle me, your uncle. But Uzumaki Naruto could only walk back to his audience seats angrily. The next game was the fight between Hyuga Hinata and Hyuga Neji. The battle between the main families of the Hyuga family really had countless highlights. When the two came on the stage, the audience in the entire stand began to cheer. Hyuga Hinata looked at her cousin Hyuga Neji. "I can definitely change you, cousin." But Hyuga Neji said contemptuously, "Hinata, a person's character and ability are determined by nature and will never change. You lack confidence in your eyes, are full of fear of fighting, and hope to escape from fighting. What can you do? How can you change me? You might as well give up the game early. No matter how strong you become, you can't change your fate of being a weak person." Hyuga Neji's words were like sharp blades piercing Hyuga Hinata's heart. Hyuga Hinata was on the verge of collapse at this time. Uzumaki Naruto stood on the high platform and shouted loudly, "Hinata, don't believe that something can't be changed. Stand up and defeat him. Prove yourself." Hearing Naruto's words, Hyuga Hinata finally came back to her senses. Naruto-kun is right. If I don't try, how can I know if it will change? Then he rushed directly in the direction of Hyuga Neji. The soft fist in his hand kept hitting in the direction of Hyuga Neji. Hyuga Neji stepped on the Bagua and could only defend. "You will die." Hyuga Neji's eyes were indifferent, and he kept attacking with acupuncture points while defending. After continuous acupuncture points, Hinata's chakra was sealed. Neji dodged and revealed a flaw. Hinata used all her strength to attack that place. "But this is a trap," Neji said calmly. "This is the arrogance of your main family." Then he slapped each other's body directly. But this palm was the difference between the two. Neji was unharmed, and Hinata vomited blood and fell to the ground. But at this time, Hyuga Hinata didn't think of giving up at all. Constantly rushing forward with fists, and constantly being knocked to the ground. Neji looked at this cousin and said in surprise, "This is the difference in strength. Why do you challenge me again and again? Surrender. But Hinata endured the severe pain all over her body and refuted Neji. You are the one who is suffering the most. The veins around Neji's white eyes bulged. What did you say? This sentence seemed to have opened the scar in Neji's heart. Neji rushed up desperately and slapped him hard. The pupils of all the Jonin in the audience shrank, because they knew that this palm was enough to kill Hinata. Uzumaki Naruto's figure quickly came to Hinata's side, and countless chakras began to rush towards Hyuga Neji frantically. Hyuga Neji's figure was overturned. He fell to the ground. Then the figures of Hatake Kakashi, Might Guy, Yuhi Kurenai, and Gekko Gale also appeared in the center of the battlefield. He directly lifted up Neji, who was lying on the ground. He checked Neji's wound. Hatake Kakashi walked to Uzumaki Naruto and said, "You shouldn't have left the field. We will solve this matter. If I don't leave the field, Hinata will let that guy beat her to death." Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's roar, Hatake Kakashi didn't say anything. The four people looked at each other and carried Neji out of the round platform. Moonlight Gale said, standing on the high platform. This time, because of the intervention of Uzumaki Naruto on Hinata's side, Neji won. The next contestant should be ready. Lock Lee said to Tenten, who was worried about him. It's okay. There is no problem with this competition. I still have my dream opponent to challenge. How can I give up halfway? Then he stood on the round platform slowly. Gaara's figure jumped directly from the audience, splashing countless dust. Looking at Rock Lee opposite with dark circles under his eyes. You have to be prepared to die. Lock Lee looked at Gaara in front of him and said. Then I might disappoint you. He scratched his head foolishly while saying this. Then Rock Lee's figure quickly approached Gaara. Konoha Whirlwind. Rock Lee appeared directly behind Gaara and kicked him hard. But a sand shield appeared instantly. It blocked Rock Lee's Konoha Whirlwind by force. But Rock Lee shook his feet violently. All his strength instantly condensed in his right fist. Hit hard. Directly bombarded the surface of the sand shield. A deafening echo appeared on the entire dome. Gaara's figure couldn't withstand the impact and was hit hard. But he didn't suffer any damage at all. Gaara got up from the ground fiercely, with a bloodthirsty light in his eyes. I like to fight with people like you. Killing you is far more interesting than killing them. Countless sandstorms instantly rushed towards Xiao Li. Xiao Li dodged to the side. His speed also began to increase. He kept circling around Gaara. Countless sand surged around Gaara. A part of the sand was slowly flowing due to Xiao Li's speed. Sand shuriken. In an instant, the sand formed countless shurikens and threw them in Xiao Li's direction. But Xiao Li's figure was faster and came behind Gaara. He kicked his feet again in disbelief. Konoha Fierce Wind. But under the slow encirclement of the sand shield, Xiao Li's attack was also invalid. Xiao Li jumped directly onto the sand shield and kicked his feet to keep a distance from Gaara. Xiao Li bent his body slightly and slowly untied the 1,000-pound iron ring tied to his feet. The 1,000-pound iron ring engraved with Root Nature fell into a huge pit and appeared on the round platform. Everyone opened their mouths. How is it possible? That thing is so heavy. You can still go so fast with such a heavy thing. Is it really the limit of human body? Gaara looked at Xiao Li, who was untied at this time, and the madness in his eyes became even more intense. It really surprised me. The current situation is getting more and more exciting for me. Xiao Li really ignored Gaara's words, and seriously made the Bajiquan hand gesture in the distance. Bajiquan Lock Lee participates. Rock Lee's momentum exploded all over his body. A non-chakra energy emanated from his dantian. Xiao Li began to mutter in his mouth. Use your mind to lead the chi. Use the chi to stimulate the force. 3 sets and 6 points, the unity of inside and outside. The whole person rushed out immediately. Rushed to Gaara's back in an instant. His leg kicked Gaara's head fiercely like lightning. At this time, Gaara's absolute domain did not react. Xiao Li's leg hit Gaara's head. Gaara's whole body flew out with a bang, hit the wall hard, and finally fell slowly. Countless dust was splashed. Gaara slowly stood up. Countless sand armors fell on his face and body. That was his way of saving his life. Now Gaara can finally feel the feeling of death around him. All eyes were bloodshot, but he said nothing. Countless sand began to gather around him. Instantly created countless sand defenses. But at the same time, Gaara's body became very heavy. Xiao Li shouted from a distance. 8 gates of ninjutsu. First gate open, gate open. Countless air currents poured out from Rock Lee's acupuncture points. But Rock Lee did not stop his 8 gates of ninjutsu at this time. He shouted again loudly. 8 gates of ninjutsu. Second gate rest, gate open. 8 gates of ninjutsu. Third gate life, gate open. Suddenly, green chakra continued to radiate around Rock Lee. At this time, Rock Lee began to circle around Gaara like a green light. Finally, Gaara had a slight loophole. Gaara's gourd was not protected at all. Rock Lee suddenly appeared behind Gaara. His fist turned into a palm in an instant. Mountain-splitting palm. Open and close, never to return. This is the meaning of the 8 extremes. All the chakra in Lee's body gathered on his palm in an instant. Chopped down fiercely. But Gaara couldn't react at all at this time. He could only endure Lee's attack. Crunch. The gourd that was always on Gaara's back began to have countless cracks. Endless sand seas overflowed from the cracks. What is the gourd behind Gaara that broke? In the audience, Kankuro and Tamari looked at the terrifying scene on the round platform. Because they knew that the gourd behind Gaara was infused with Gaara's chakra. Indestructible, that is the source of countless sand. But it actually began to break apart under this palm. Countless sands protected Gaara's body and kept rising. At this moment, Gaara was like the king of sand. Gaara's hands kept waving. Countless amounts of sand rushed crazily in the direction of Xiao Li. Xiao Li's expression also became nervous instantly. He took out the weapon scroll he took from Tiantian. He took out a ninja sword directly from it. With the help of the moves in Bajikwan, you can dance with a ninja sword. Those are the Da Liuhe Dao and Xiao Liuhe Dao in Bajikwan. Countless sands couldn't even get close to Xiao Li. Under the endless blades, the sand began to branch out into a path. The third Hokage and Rasa were sitting in the Hokage's office. The third Hokage looked at the scene in the crystal ball and smiled slightly. I think the strength of our new generation of Konoha ninjas is still of high quality. But I have to say that the 3 children of Kazekage-sama are also outstanding in strength. I believe they will become famous in the ninja world one day. Luo Sha, the clone of Bai Li, smiled slightly. Haha, the strength of Konoha's new generation is also guaranteed. Our skills are inferior to others this time. Konoha's strength will dominate the ninja world or unify the ninja world. But after hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen hurriedly waved his hand. Master Kazekage is joking. We in Konoha village have always implemented the will of fire. We dare not forget the thoughts of the first generation. Besides, we in Konoha also know our own strength. Our wish is nothing but peace in the ninja world. Both parties in this conversation were talking riddles, but they both understood what the other party meant. At this time, both sides on the round platform were angry. Countless amounts of sand rushed towards Gaara's arms. A huge sand claw instantly appeared on my arm. This is the initial fusion of Gaara and Ikibi. You deserve to die. Spear of sand. A high-density spear made of sand appeared in his hand instantly. A sharp throw. He quickly headed in the direction of Rock Lee. But Rock Lee's figure flashed, his feet kicked hard, and a huge sound came from the ground. The whole person flew directly into the air. The ninja sword in his hand also shot fiercely in the direction of Gaara. But it was tightly entangled by the huge sand, and finally twisted into scrap metal. But Rock Lee's body bent into a strange shape in midair. It looks like a bow and arrow. Then he directly used his strength to exert force, and Rock Lee seemed to have stepped on something in the air. He threw his whole body out directly. The whole person raised his fist and rushed towards Gaara's direction. It was like a green shooting star. It broke the sky. In the end, Gaara and Lee's bodies were buried in endless smoke. The smoke slowly dissipated. Gaara and Xiao Li both closed their eyes and lay on the ground without any consciousness. Metkai quickly rushed up to the round platform. He picked up Xiao Li and ran towards the direction of Konoha Ninja Hospital. Just as Kankuro and Tamari were about to get off, countless sands around Gaara began to surge crazily on the round platform. A huge figure appeared on the round platform. Ikibi Shukaku also began to laugh crazily on the round platform. It's the Leaf Village, ha ha ha. Let this huge leaf village tremble under my body. Countless amounts of sand are pouring out from around Shukaku. Start devouring the surrounding ninjas. Sarutobi Asuma and Yuhi Kurenai's expressions instantly became tense. Sarutobi Asuma took a long puff of cigarette and said slowly. Trouble, Ikibi has woken up. There is no other way. Hokage-sama is not here, so we have no choice but to go up. There was a serious expression in Yuhi Hong's red eyes. And now that Metkai and Hitaki Kakashi are not here, we Junin can hold on as long as we can. Stop talking, everyone now listens to my command. Sarutobi Asuma quickly climbed onto the high platform. Now all Junin are committed to fighting against the one-tailed Shukaku, the Chunin are evacuating the ordinary people, and the Genin are starting to slowly withdraw to Konoha. Yes, Metkai, who was about to arrive at Konoha Hospital, glanced at the selection field in the distance. Slowly rising from the selection field, Ikibi's huge body appeared. Sighed slightly. Kakashi, is Konoha finally going to this point? But looking at the unconscious disciple in his arms, he gritted his teeth. He ran frantically towards Konoha Hospital. Kakashi stood outside the selection arena. It seems that your master's plan has begun, so it's time for me to return to Konoha. Then, Hitaki Kakashi's figure quickly came to the front of Uzumaki Naruto and the others. It's time for us to return to Konoha. This place is no longer our business. My master arranged it. Hitaki Kakashi nodded his head. Let's go back to Konoha village. The role of the One Tail is to intercept Konoha's active forces. Uzumaki Naruto looked back at Gaara in the middle of the field. He nodded his head. Then the four of them quickly ran towards Konoha village. When he ran to the entrance of the village, Uzumaki Naruto turned to Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura and said, Sasuke, Sakura, you go back to your homes now and rush to the shelter quickly. It's time for Konoha to change. Make sure you are safe. Uchiha Sasuke stared at Uzumaki Naruto with a serious face. I see. Sakura also looked at Uzumaki Naruto and nodded her head seriously. Be careful. Then the two of them quickly ran towards their home. Kakashi-sensei, let's go, it's time for us to show up, and it's time for me to make the higher-ups in Konoha pay a little price for what I did. At this moment, Uzumaki Naruto's disguise was suddenly torn apart. The whole person is like a sharp sword. Hitaki Kakashi looked at Uzumaki Naruto's figure and thought of Namikaze Minato. But at this time, Uzumaki Naruto's character was completely inconsistent with Namikaze Minato. In the Hokage's office, Sarutobi Hiruzen and Rasa both had a hint of smile in their eyes. Expected. Haha, as expected. The two people looked at each other and smiled, and then their momentum suddenly changed. I wonder how long Master Casecage has been planning this plan. Hey, it's only 2 years. I really didn't expect that a bad old man like me could let Master Casecage plan for 2 years. A bad old man like me is so lucky. So what? This plan was completely inexperienced by Hokage-sama. I think his plan was a complete failure. Sarutobi Hiruzen clapped his hands. Didn't that young man come? But Feng Ying opposite him showed a faint smile. His body shape directly changed into a white raccoon. In this wave, which floor is Master Hokage on? Seeing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly stood up. You! How dare you kill Rasa? That's the Casecage of Sunagakur village. Do you know what this impact will be? The most serious thing may be a ninja war. Do you really not think about it at all? Seeing Hiruzen Sarutobi's roar, the corners of Bai Li's mouth curved slightly. Why should I worry? That's your Konoha business, right? Casecage Rasa's death in Konoha is not my responsibility. You! Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the smiling white raccoon and roared. You are such a madman. Thanks for the compliment. Finally, Bai Li slowly stood up and made an inviting gesture towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. Let's go. I think Lord Hokage might not destroy the Hokage building. After all, this is the center of Konoha. In this way, the two of them arrived at the Platycodon Castle Tower. A figure and 4 younger brothers have been waiting here for a long time. Sarutobi-sensei. Orochimaru threw down his cloak and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a smile on his face. It's been a long time since we last met. I didn't expect that it would be like this when we meet again. But Orochimaru smiled slightly and did not refute. Shiratuki stood up slowly, looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and said, Don't you, Hokage-sama, need to inform others? Do you really want to challenge our group alone? Unnecessary. Sarutobi Hiruzen confidently took off his Hokage robe, revealing his combat uniform. It seems that Hokage-sama has been prepared, but we still need to wait for a few more people. Bai Li loosened his robe and sat on the eaves. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought thoughtfully and smiled. Uzumaki Naruto, Hokage-sama, can't you just wait a little longer? I'll definitely let Hokage-sama know. After a long time, Uzumaki Naruto and Hitaki Kakashi slowly walked up the tower. Naruto, I really didn't expect that the will of fire in your heart is constantly extinguished. Now you have fallen into this state. The third generation looked indifferent when he saw Naruto, as if he had known about it a long time ago. That's not all thanks to you. I can become what I am today, Hokage-sama. The role you provided is not small. At this time, Uzumaki Naruto said again. If it weren't for my master, I still don't know who my father and mother are. I endure the glares from the villagers every day because I am hated by everyone because of my identity as the nine-tailed Jinchuriki. I am the fourth generation's son. I am the fourth generation's son. Speaking of this, Uzumaki Naruto gradually went crazy. Shouted loudly. The son of the fourth generation eats unwanted rotten vegetable leaves in the vegetable market every day and drinks milk that is about to expire. Is this your attitude towards the son of the fourth generation? Have you ever thought about my father and mother being here? How do you explain it to them? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked in the direction of Uzumaki Naruto with a hint of guilt. It's my fault. In fact, my original intention was to protect you. The fourth generation had too many enemies during his lifetime. I was afraid that something might happen to you when you were young, so I could only hide your identity. Oh, seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen say something emotional at this time, Bailey laughed lightly. Why are you laughing? This is my original intention to protect Naruto. It's nothing, I just think there is something to this forced explanation from Hokage-sama. Suddenly all the eyes of the audience were focused on Bailey. Bailey frowned and said, it all depends on what I do. Everyone knows the identity of Naruto's nine-tailed Jinchuriki. I don't believe that other ninja villages don't know it. So which one is more special, the identity of the nine-tailed Jinchuriki or the identity of the fourth generation son? Quote. Bailey sat on the tiles and kept picking his fingernails. Sarutobi Hiruzen's old face instantly turned red. Shouted angrily, Shuzi, you are really my biggest enemy of Konoha village. After saying that, his hand suddenly began to form seals and slammed on the ground. Earth Release Earth Dragon Bullet Technique. An earth faucet appeared on the tiles and began to spit out a stream of earth crazily in the direction of Bai Li. Court Death. Bai Li quickly formed seals in his hands. Earth Release Earth Dragon Bullet Technique. Directly copied Sarutobi Hiruzen's technique. But the art created by Bai Li is not just as simple as earth flow. Kill Hiruzen Sarutobi's Earth Dragon Bullet forcefully. Sarutobi Hiruzen began to retreat continuously. I told you that your opponent is not me, otherwise you could die here in minutes. After saying that, Bai Li looked at Naruto beside him. You come on. Naruto nodded his head, and the nine-tailed chakra instantly covered Naruto's body. It's time to pay me what you owe me, old man Sarutobi. After saying that, Uzumaki Naruto kicked his feet hard and flew out. The art of multiple shadow clones. Naruto appeared one after another. Each Naruto holds a Rasengan with different properties in his hand. Press in the direction of Sarutobi Hiruzen. You're still too weak, Naruto. Sarutobi Hiruzen's whole aura changed drastically, and the chakra all over his body began to spurt out continuously. Earth Escape Earthly River. The thick soil instantly buried Uzumaki Naruto's clone. The third generation quickly formed hand seals in his hands again. Fire Release Fire Dragon Bullet. Compound Ninjutsu. Earth Dragon Rock Flow. The flames instantly covered up the mud flow. It began to continuously burn Uzumaki Naruto's clone. Each clone also began to dissipate. Naruto, your actual combat ability is still not good enough. The third generation touched his beard and looked at Uzumaki Naruto in front of him with a smile. His face suddenly became serious. Why betray Konoha? Have you forgotten the will of fire that belongs to Konoha? Start forming seals with both hands quickly. Water Release Water Dragon Bullet Technique. A water dragon quickly rushed towards Uzumaki Naruto. But Naruto didn't dodge or dodge. A huge earth flow wall rose instantly. Uzumaki Naruto looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a smile and said, Thank you, Third Eye-sama, for letting me understand that chakra can still be used in this way. Suddenly, a water ball and a thunder ball quickly appeared in Naruto's two palms. The hands suddenly came together. A huge Rasengan appeared instantly. Compound Ninjutsu. Thunder Water Rasengan. The Rasengan in Uzumaki Naruto's hand began to rotate at high speed and was thrown out at once. The third generation's eyes shrank slightly. This Rasengan is not comparable to the previous Rasengan. The third generation's hands began to form seals quickly, and a huge barrier appeared directly in front of him. He blocked this attack alive. Earth Escape Earth Flow Wall. Countless water flows slowly down the tall wall, leaving behind the sound of thunder and lightning. As the water flowed down, the thunder and lightning slowly disappeared. The earth flow wall slowly fell, and the third generation looked at the Naruto who seemed to have grown up in front of him. There were also constant praises in his mouth. You are worthy of being the fourth generation's son. This talent is really strong. He learned the compound ninjutsu in his own hands. But your mere shadow strength is not enough. The third generation slammed his hands on the ground. A huge psychic circle appeared instantly. Come out, my old friend, the Ape King, the Ape Demon. An ape appeared on the battlefield instantly, squinting his eyes and looking at Uzumaki Naruto in front of him. Said disdainfully, I'm talking about the third generation old man, you beat a child, why did you call me to do it? It's my turn to do this kind of thing. Ape Demon, don't underestimate the enemy. This is no ordinary kid. Behind him are our enemies. After saying that, Hiruzen Sarutobi stretched out his hand, and the monkey demon instantly turned into a stick. Come on, Naruto. Naruto half crouched on it, fiddled with his whole body, stepped forward, and pulled out a few kunai with special styles from his ninja tool bag. Flying Thunder God Kunai, you really look like him. The third generation looked at the kunai in Naruto's hand and seemed to see the man he once was. But the only answer to him was the kunai that shot at him quickly. Naruto's little hands quickly formed seals. Fire Release. Fireball Technique. Wind Escape Big Breakthrough. The wind helps the fire. Countless fires instantly swallowed up Sarutobi Hiruzen's figure. But Naruto's figure also instantly appeared in Kubuchi behind Sarutobi Hiruzen. The Rasengan in your hand begins to rotate at high speed. He hit Sarutobi Hiruzen hard on the lower back. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the fierce flames in front of him, and saw Uzumaki Naruto behind him. He threw the Vajra Rui staff behind him. He clasped his hands together. Earth Escape Earth Flow Wall. A huge earth wall appeared to block the endless sea of fire. A smile appeared on the face of Uzumaki Naruto behind him, and the whole person turned into a puff of smoke. Not good. The pupils of the third generation shrank suddenly. He was about to reach out his hand to get the golden light Rui staff. But there was a sound of breaking air above the third generation. A flying thunder god kunai instantly pierced the third generation's earth flow wall. The next second, Uzumaki Naruto's figure suddenly appeared on the earth flow wall, rubbing a crazy spinning Rasengan in his hand. He hit the third generation's head directly. In an instant, the third generation's body was directly knocked out like a broken sack, lying on the ground motionless. Uzumaki Naruto slowly approached. He held his kunai tightly in his hand. The body of the third generation began to slowly dissolve. It was Sarutobi Hiruzen's earth substitute. Instantly, the figure of the third generation appeared behind Uzumaki Naruto, and the third generation directly threw out the diamond stick in his hand. Then, the tiles on the roof began to vibrate continuously. Several tile shurikens flew out directly, flying quickly towards Naruto. The third generation also quickly formed seals in his hands. Shuriken Shadow Clones. In an instant, countless shurikens shot directly towards Naruto. Seeing this scene, Hatake Kakashi stretched out his hand nervously. Bai Li glanced at him and said, I know my own disciple well. Just watch his growth honestly. Don't worry. Hatake Kakashi listened to Bai Li's words and could only sit down honestly. Multiple shadow clones. Instantly, countless Naruto appeared around Naruto, making the roof look very crowded at this time. The expression on each Naruto's face was also different. But each Naruto was rubbing a Rasengan in his hand, blocking his body tightly. The kidney and liver. Suddenly, a huge explosion sounded on the entire tower. Naruto's body was directly ejected. Naruto, give up, the village can still accommodate you now. Sarutobi Hiruzen took the Vajra Rui stick that flew back from a distance and walked towards Naruto step by step. A prodigal son who returns is worth more than gold. Believe me, if you turn your head now, the whole Konoha village will be proud of you. Hee. Naruto on the ground stood up directly and hugged Sarutobi Hiruzen's Vajra Rui stick tightly. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face changed drastically. He whipped the Vajra Rui stick in his hand hard, but Naruto was even more ferocious at this time. He directly put his lower body into the eaves and stuck it tightly. He just refused to let go. Bang! A crisp voice sounded behind Sarutobi Hiruzen. Another Naruto appeared here. Puff! The kunai in his hand was firmly inserted into Sarutobi Hiruzen's lower back. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face instantly turned red, and the Vajra Rui stick in his hand fell to the ground. Bang! Uzumaki Naruto and Tsurumo under him also disappeared, leaving only the Uzumaki Naruto holding the kunai behind Sarutobi Hiruzen. Puff! Sarutobi Hiruzen covered his lower back and staggered back. Well done, Naruto. Bailey threw down the melon seeds in his hand, stood up, and shouted loudly. All is fair in war, Grandpa Sarutobi. Uzumaki Naruto easily put his hands behind his back, a smile appeared on his face, but he still looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with murderous intent. Sarutobi Hiruzen slowly leaned on the eaves, his mouth slightly opened. Uzumaki Naruto frowned and walked forward. Be careful, there's a trick. Naruto. Hatake Kakashi looked at this scene, stood up and warned Uzumaki Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto turned his head and said, "It's okay, Kakashi-sensei." At the same time, he clenched the kunai in his palm and slowly approached Sarutobi Hiruzen. "What did you say?" "Ah." Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice was too small, and Uzumaki Naruto had to put his ear close to Sarutobi Hiruzen's mouth. Suddenly, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes became bright. A cunning color flashed across his face. "You've been fooled, little Naruto." I don't know when a kunai appeared in Sarutobi Hiruzen's hand. It went straight to Naruto's stomach. Naruto's pupils shrank suddenly, but there was no time to react at this time. He directly stabbed the kunai in his hand into Sarutobi Hiruzen's chest. In an instant, the two quickly distanced themselves. Naruto covered his stomach, his eyes becoming increasingly fierce. Sarutobi Hiruzen slowly stood up, stretched out his hand, and took off the kunai on his chest. Suddenly, the flesh on Sarutobi Hiruzen's chest began to wriggle continuously. His injuries healed immediately. White Raccoon patted Hatake Kakashi's thigh next to him, and Hatake Kakashi instantly appeared next to Uzumaki Naruto. Pulling Uzumaki Naruto back to his side. "Are you okay, Naruto?" Naruto Uzumaki waved his hand, but he fainted in the next second. Bailey slowly stood up, covering the wound with the Nine Tails chakra in his hand. 3 seconds later, the kunai was squeezed out directly. The wounds also disappeared. "I still lack experience." Bailey gently hit Uzumaki Naruto's head with his hand. He slowly took out a lollipop from his arms. "Put it in your mouth." I really didn't expect that the current Hokage-sama, a big figure in the ninja world, would fuse himself with the first-generation cells. It's really surprising. I really can't do this with your courage. Sarutobi Hiruzen narrowed his eyes. Isn't this all forced by you? You said that the top management of Konoha is going to suffer, and we can't escape, so we made such a bad move. Bailey took out the lollipop, looked at the lollipop and said, "Did you really not think about how much impact this matter would have on you or Konoha as a whole if it was revealed today? At that time, everyone will say that the third Hokage of Konoha took the lead in conducting human experiments and injecting it into his own body. Transplanting first-generation cells is so shameless. Are you sure it won't cause a ninja war? Haha, as your excellency said, the nine-tailed Jinchuriki devoured the cells of the first generation and wanted to defect to Konoha, but was killed on the spot by the third Hokage of Konoha. Everyone present was his accomplice. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.